Today, for the very first time, we're going to be checking out the brand new, just released Muse album. This is the wow signal.
Wow.
Hello everybody, I just have a very quick disclaimer at the very beginning of the video here before you get into anything, because as I've been sitting here throughout the day today editing this Muse video, I've encountered a few issues. One of those being a technical thing that happened, and it was my silly fault for the way I use OBS. I had the music in Chris's track, and as well as his voice, but thankfully his voice was separated on a separate track. But anyway, I bring all this up to say, when we are listening to the music and doing the actual reaction, everything you will be hearing is totally fine. It's exactly the way that I wanted it to be. But during the sort of outro section of this video, we do a little bit of A-Bing between this Muse album and several other Muse albums, and even we look up a few other artists. And so during that section, I had to sort of compromise the quality of what you're hearing a little bit, but I'm going to insert myself at that point to explain that a little bit more, but I wanted to let you know that there was something kind of funky going on. And so I'll explain that when we get to that part of the video. It's way later, like 2.5 hours from now. But the reason I bring that up now is because in this video, you are going to hear us talking about a lot of production stuff and a lot of issues that we had with some of certain specific things with the way this album sounds. Specifically, we felt like there was a lacking of high end in it across this album. And it's a problem we encounter here on the channel a lot. We talk about it in a lot of videos, especially recently here on the channel. And as I've been sitting here editing the video, and at the end of the video too, one of the reasons we're going back and forth between some of these albums is because I am kind of surprised at how similar this album sounds frequency range-wise to the previous Muse album, Will of the People, and some other albums in Muse's catalog, and some other artists' albums that we're looking up in A-Bing this album too later on. And so I just wanted to say that we talk pretty harshly about some stuff, some of the problems we had with this album while we're listening to it. Try not to let that bother you too much, because at the end of the video, we are kind of befuddled as to what we're hearing. And I now, as I'm sitting here and I've edited the video, I've listened to the entire album again, I think what's happening is the first 5 tracks on this album are lacking in high end. And after that, these songs have a bit more headroom to them. There's a bit more dynamicism to the songs. There's way more like heavy electric guitar there. And you can tell from the way we're reacting to it that we loved those songs a lot. And now, having heard it again a second time, I do think that the first 5 songs are lacking in high end, and then the rest of the album, the second half of the album basically, does have more high end and sounds higher quality in my opinion. So just bear that in mind as we're going through the album and listening, because we are pretty harsh on it, and I do feel like we are justifiably hard on the album. But I wanted to just kind of mention that here at the front to let you know. But at the end of the day, spoiler, we really did enjoy this album and think it was very special. So don't let this little insert here scare you away from the video, because we do love this album. And I just for total transparency, I am keeping everything the way that we intended it to be while we were recording the video. Like, there are certain points in the video where I boost the EQs. Everything is very clearly displayed on screen. Everything is exactly the way I want it to be while we're editing this, with the exception of the technical snafu that happened later. But everything is the way it's meant to be, and it's exactly the way I am explaining it in the video. So I'm not altering anything beyond what I'm saying at the time, and everything should be very obvious what we're doing to the audio, and everything is faithful to what we were hearing at the time. And I've made sure while editing the video to keep everything like on the level. Like, I'm not manipulating anything beyond what we're saying. So what you're hearing is exactly what we were hearing, plus the additional things I'm doing post in editing. Everything, again, is going to be clearly labeled, but I want to just say everything is exactly the way it's intended to be. And yeah, so please enjoy this video. I think it's a fantastic conversation that Chris and I have. You can tell we're both very excited the entire time. And yeah, I'll just shut up and we'll get right into the video. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. My name is Patrick. This is Chris, and we
Wow.
yes, wow, indeed. Okay, so right away, Chris, I gotta ask, how excited are you to listen to this album?
Wow.
How excited are you for this?
I don't know.
Because
their last album was a banger, for sure.
Yes, and we'll talk about that in a second. We'll get to that in a second. But like, I would say of all the bands that we have talked about over the years, with the exception of maybe Poppy, Muse is one of the bands, is maybe the band that you do bring up the most, I would say.
Oh, that's interesting.
I think so. Like, it's been, you consistently bring it up. However, when you're talking about it, it's usually when we're talking about live music, and you're like, the greatest show I've ever seen, multiplied by however many times I've seen them, is Muse. Like, the best live show you've ever seen.
Every time you see Muse live, they'll do something you didn't think was possible, and it will be on a grand scale that changes your life. And I've seen them now probably, I try to see them every tour. And I saw them in 2008 for Black Holes and Revelations, which was the first time I was like, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this is only $35 in 2008, which is pathetic, like ridiculous price.
Yep.
But yeah, I think I've seen them every tour since then, because they just keep bringing stuff to it that you're like, it really changes your view of what is possible in live music.
With live music, right. I mean, I think they're like the perfect band to actually see live, because and for those of you watching this video, if you're new here, first of all, welcome. If you're familiar with how we do things, welcome back. But you can check in the link in the description for links to everything, including, this is actually our first Muse reaction on the channel.
That's true.
Which I do think that I did. Take it back. I think I did react to Will of the People. I think I did. We tried to record that at the time when it came out, and something happened and you had to cancel, and I just recorded it myself, I think, if I remember correctly, which I really regretted at the time. I wish I would have waited, just because of how fantastic that album turned out to be. I think that was the first Muse album to ever be in my top 12 list, and I think it was my number 4 or 5 that year.
Yeah.
And I think it was your number... I don't know if a Poppy album came out that year, but
I doubt it would be in my number 1.
But certainly in your top 5.
I'm sure it was on the list.
Yeah. But anyway, so this will be one of the first times we're going to get to talk about Muse here on the channel as a band. So we're going to do a little bit of that up front, but we want to try to get to the music as soon as we can. But I just want to say, check the description for everything real quick before we get too deep into Muse. Check the description for all the stuff. We have a bunch of fun stuff coming out by the time this video is posted, which will probably be next week. Or, well, am I going to try to do this video real quick and get it out before the Metallica video? Doesn't matter. Around the time this video is going to be releasing, we are going to be releasing our first Metallica video with all 3 of us here on the channel reacting to Garage Inc. Disc 2. It's the first big Metallica video we've done here on the channel in over 2 years. It has been... Chris, when the video gets posted that we recorded last week, or whenever we recorded it, of us listening to Garage Inc. Disc 2... when that video gets posted, it will have been 833 days since we listened to Disc 1.
That's really...
That's stupid.
So difficult to believe.
Now, I will say, I know it seems longer than it is, because we did Garage Inc. Disc 1, and then we did Symphony of Metallica, probably like 4 or 5 months later. Then we did Symphony of Metallica Part 2 several months after that. So we did all that stuff right before I went to the hospital for my transplant in 2025. And so, but we did Disc 1, March 24th, 2024.
It doesn't feel... I mean, I would... If you told me last year, sure. But 2 years ago?
I know. It's crazy. But we've been doing lots of other stuff, and we've been having fun, and I've been putting it off because I don't want to finish Metallica, but we've always got more Metallica to do. Plus,
we'll always come up with something.
I just was showing Chris, I got my Lars and my Kirk clearanced Metallica Funko Pops today at Walmart. So
nice,
shout out to Walmart clearance, even though it's still $10, but $10 for a Funko Pop if you're a collector of Funko Pops, which I'm not. But I do have, shout out to one of my favorite video games of all time, my Sam Porter Bridges Death Stranding Funko Pop right here. One of only a few Funko Pops that I have. The rest right here, that you can't see. Hold on, let me rotate the camera. There's my Witcher fighting a Leshen or if you're reading the books, the Leshy. And then my favorite Funko Pop and one of my favorite things of all time, this Sweet Tooth driving his vehicle.
Nice.
Funko Pop. This is like this, Chris, to buy this on eBay.
Dude, that's such a good Funko. Like, there's so many of them that are just like
stupid
the same stupid head with like mustache drawn on it.
Yep, for sure.
That thing rules. That is awesome.
To buy this, any of Twisted Metal stuff at all is so expensive. And Twisted Metal's like, for the people watching who don't give a crap about this at all, which is everybody, Twisted Metal's like one of my favorite properties of all time. And we are going to do a reaction here on the channel with our like metalhead friend to some of the Twisted Metal soundtrack stuff. But Twisted Metal is one of my favorite properties of all time. I just finished the second season of the TV show the other day, a couple weeks ago, and oh god, so good. Can't believe they actually made a second season of it, and they set up for a season 3. So I don't know whether it'll happen or not. But for those of you who watched the first season and didn't watch the second season, I highly recommend going and checking out the second season, because boy, does it get better than the first season. Fantastic. But I learned the other day, Chris, that you can find online and on Walmart. It was $37.99, and I was like, do I want to waste that much money on this? They released a couple of years ago a Twisted Metal double vinyl record set. So it's called the Twisted Metal Symphony. I've searched on eBay. You can't find it on eBay. It must be, I don't know how new it is, or maybe it was a pre-order, actually. I didn't notice that. But like, it was $37.99, and I was like, I would never spend that much on anything. Well, I would. It'd have to be really special, but Twisted Metal is really special. Anyway, it's a double record set of some of the songs from games 1 and 2, Twisted Metal Black, and Twisted Metal, the one on PS3. Because those very specific things missing from that collection. Well, that's because the other studios made the other games. So like the same team that made 1 and 2 and Black and the PS3 one are the same team, and so they are games or songs that were made for the levels of the games on vinyl record. And
I figured it would be because of all of the licensing issues with Rob Zombie music, but I didn't realize that Black was the same team. Was that David Jaffe's original Twisted Metal team?
I believe it was, yes.
Wow.
Yep.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
And Twisted Metal Black is actually my favorite of the Twisted Metal games. And I wish it wasn't stranded on the PS2. I'm not sure if you can play it. I think it might be on PS Classics, but I tried. Someday I want a remastering of all those.
I was such a huge Twisted Metal fan all the way up through 4. And I got Black, and I really wanted to play it online, and I got the PS2 network adapter, and I could never get it to work for one reason or another. And so I pretty much abandoned the game. I think I maybe played one round, because it was online only, I think, wasn't it?
No. You could buy a version of it that was Twisted Metal Black online. So maybe that's what you had. But
I think that is what I had.
Yeah, the actual game Twisted Metal, I think I had it sitting up here for a while. I have it on my shelf, but the actual Twisted Metal Black game was just a single player game.
No. So I definitely didn't have that one, which is a shame. Yeah. I did, because I wanted to play it online. But
do you still have that disc? Because it might be worth a lot of money. The Twisted Metal Black online disc.
I think I would only be able to find it if my mom died.
well, let's hope. We can only hope.
We can only hope. Exactly. Yeah, because it would it's buried under years of stuff in her house.
At the house, yeah. One of my dream finds is to find a copy of Twisted Metal Small Brawl on the PS1. Because a guy could have bought it back in the day, but I didn't, and that's like one of those retro games that costs like $150 to buy now. But anyway, okay, so we're here to talk about Muse. I'm very excited about this. So before we get too deep into it, I just want to go through what I have of Muse and what I am familiar with. I think I would say in general, Chris, you enjoy Muse more than me. I think
it's difficult to put that in a present tense, but I would say overall that's probably true.
Okay,
because I started with Black Holes and Revelations. No, Absolution.
Yeah,
started with Absolution, and then that one, Black Holes. By the time Black Holes was over, I was like, well, this is it. This is like my favorite band.
Doesn't get any better, right?
I went back, Origin of Symmetry, Hullabaloo, the first one. What is that first one called?
I think those are their first two, Hullabaloo and Origin of Symmetry.
Hullabaloo's a live album. Origin of Symmetry is their second album.
Origin of Symmetry, and then the blue one with the the lady running on it with the dog or something. I don't know what it is, but anyway, you can check and see what it is.
I am checking Showbiz.
Oh, Showbiz. Yeah.
And,
okay.
Yeah. And then, so I feel like that whole period of time from like 2004 to maybe like 2012 was just Muse sitting comfortably at the top of the music I listened to daily just the whole time.
Okay.
And then Resistance came out and I listened to that a lot, but less. And then The Second Law came out and that was more, but way less. And then by the time Drones came out, I think I ran through it like once. And then there's like a gap in the middle where I don't even know what those albums are after Drones.
I think it's just one album after Drones, and it's their more like electronic one. It's like the 80s one.
It's the one with Madness on it, right?
No, that's The Second Law.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, Drones. Yeah. Well, hold. Okay, here. I think this will help real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. So the earliest album of theirs I have is Origin of Symmetry, and I bought this CD last year. I have not listened to it. I've never heard this album.
Oh, great.
I have never heard Origin of Symmetry or Showbiz. I've never listened to them.
Then we can definitely do those here.
Yes, and I've talked to people about that, and I think the interesting thing about this album is that they remastered and re-released it at some point, and everyone online, when I did my Will of the People reaction, people I was saying like, oh, I've never heard their first two albums, should I do them? And a bunch of people were like, yes, you should, but that was back when we were getting like 300 views on our videos, and as opposed to the 500 we'll get on this one. But unless Muse fans show up, in which case, please let us know if you want us to do more Muse, because we have someone else we do reactions with on the channel here named Cody, and he has never heard Muse. So like we could listen to Absolution.
What does he do all day?
Okay, so anyway, back to this. Origin of Symmetry, never heard it. And then I started my Muse journey with Absolution, same way you did too, but this was before we knew each other. 2003, so this is Absolution. This is, I believe, my favorite Muse album, although that's really tough to say. We'll get to the other one in a second. Then we have
How do you feel about how that album sounds?
I like it.
Okay.
I like it. I think it's...
I go back and it feels kind of flat, but it also feels like maybe it's just 2003.
Well, I think that it is... We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
One thing I did want to say is that Black Holes and Revelations, this is my least favorite Muse album. And we've talked about this a couple times before. I don't think I've ever gotten past song 3 on this album.
Wow.
Like, I just cannot listen to it. It does not hold my attention. So I would this, and this is Muse's biggest album. This is their most most played song.
Absolution should be their biggest album.
I agree.
That was their breakout album.
Yes. But again, kind of some of it goes back to, and I wasn't going to bring this up because I know you don't really care for it that much, but the connection to Twilight is something.
Oh, I don't remember. I don't even remember that's true. As long as you don't tell me that Muse is just a knockoff of Radiohead, I'll be fine with whatever you say.
See, I don't know any Radiohead, so
Radiohead people come out of the woodwork just to say stupid garbage like that, and I'll fight anybody. That's the most ridiculous trash.
I definitely want to. So everybody watching that's a Muse fan, if you're a fan of Radiohead, I don't know. I literally don't know any Radiohead at all. The only Radiohead song I believe I've heard 2 Radiohead songs, Creep, which everybody's heard, and I've heard Paranoid Android because it was the closing song on one of my favorite animes of all time. But other than that, I know no Radiohead. And I saw a video a couple of weeks ago that was someone listing the top 10 greatest albums of all time in their opinion, and they had 3 Radiohead albums in their list. 3.
So you're saying is you wasted time watching Irrelevance.
But they also had like Kendrick Lamar and a bunch of stuff. So I was like, okay, this is clearly a person that has a different. Not that I have anything against Kendrick Lamar. I've just never heard any of his music. But like, I was like, okay, this is such a different list from mine. I'm really curious. And it was a short of people on a podcast discussing. And so there were 3 people discussing, and this was one person's list, but the other 2 people agreed that like Radiohead at least deserved 2 spots on the top 10. And I'm like, what? Do
2 spots?
Do people love Radiohead that much?
They only love Radiohead that much. There is no middle ground.
That's crazy. I just maybe we need to do that at some point on the channel. That's something I would love to do here and see, because I like the 2 songs I've heard.
You know what? I'll do it.
Yeah.
I hate Radiohead, but I don't.
Well, maybe we would learn something, you know?
At the very least, I would have an opportunity to be able to hate them fairly.
Yeah. And if I hated them too, we could just spend the whole time bashing them, which would be great, you know?
Yeah. Because and see, the thing is, I've always said Radiohead, if Tom York didn't sing, would be killer. Their music is so good.
Okay,
but
so it's a vocalist
really
problem.
do not like. Anytime he shows up, it's like, oh, this just got so much worse.
Yeah. See, I think I kind of feel that way about Smashing Pumpkins. I just don't care for Billy Corgan that much, but I don't know.
I don't agree with that, but I totally see why you feel that way.
I think Billy Corgan's like an interesting guy, and he's done production with lots of people that I enjoy their music.
Well, he lost his mind in the last decade. But.
I do believe I know that too, but he's still a good producer.
Sure.
But anyway, sorry. Okay, so I don't know very much about this album. We could do a reaction to this, and it would essentially be a first-time listen for me.
I would love to do that.
Literally, the only song on here that I know is Supermassive Black Hole, and that's because I've watched the Twilight movie enough times to know that song through the Twilight movie.
What I have I don't have a problem with with the relationship between the movie and the song. What I have a problem with is that's why you know that song.
Well, I have it on the soundtrack. See,
of course.
No matter how you feel about Twilight, which I understand a lot of people don't like it, it happens to be a property that I do enjoy, but the soundtracks to those movies are fire. So good. And especially that first one. Oh, man.
I'll allow it.
So good. And the third one is the best. It's got Black Keys. It's got the Alabama Shakes. It's got so much good, like, bluesy rock stuff on it. It's so good.
Actually, when we do that, and especially Origin of Symmetry, I have a fun thing that I will bring to that recording.
Okay, awesome. That's great. Just try to remember it. Who knows when we'll be getting to this. But if this video blows up and does like over 1,000 views, we will 1,000% do more Muse sooner rather than later. So then we have Resistance, which I really enjoy, and that's when the Twilight connection hit its peak.
Yep, Resistance is great.
Second Law.
Which one of those? Is it Resistance that has Exogenesis on it, the last 3 songs?
No, that is the Second Law.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Yes.
No, you're right. It is the Exogenesis Symphony Part 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah. That song is so infuriating because it absolutely needs to just be 1 track.
I agree.
There is no good reason for that to be 3 tracks.
I agree.
Ridiculous.
To pad out the album is what it is. So you can say, look, we have 11 songs instead of 9 is what it is. But
unacceptable.
I really do like this album though, and especially, and I know probably everyone's going to roll their eyes at me, but Undisclosed Desires is phenomenal.
It's all right.
It's phenomenal.
Like a ballad, man.
I know. Well, it was made for the Twilight movies, but I really like it. And then we have Second Law, which has mad, which I enjoyed this one. And I remember at the time, this album, I remember reading that Matt Bellamy said that his goal with this album was to literally subvert everyone's expectations. So like he said, dubstep was big at the time, and so he wanted to write a dubstep song using no electronic instruments, which that's what one of the songs on here is. I forget which one it is.
Yeah, and see, this is where I really start to fall off. Like, I know I listened to this, but like I saw, they'll play Animals live, and I'm like, what is that? And it's like Animals, Explorers, Big Freeze, Save Me, Liquid State. Like, I think I recognize some of these.
And Panic Station's a good one, but like
Panic Station's, of course, but like this is really, to 2012. This is really when I stopped.
Yeah,
when I was like, I'll get to it.
Yeah. And so this one is not my favorite Muse album for sure. I definitely like Resistance more than this one, but I remember at the time reading about Matt being like, trying to subvert expectations and stuff. And then I think I might skip an album between there and here. So the next album I have is Drones, and I can't read.
Yeah, that's the next one.
The font is, no one on earth can read that on there. That's stupid. So then I have Drones. And this album, I like the way this album is mixed a lot. This is like their bluesy, like Black Keys sounding album. It sounds very wooden, very hollow sounding, very rounded, very heavy and raw. But I just don't care for the songs as much. And I think that there's one of the songs on here that has Psycho. That was their big single. And in in the chorus, he has a swear word all the time. So it's like, I'm effing psycho, And that, for some reason, that was enough to ruin this album for me because I'm a big fat wiener poo-poo.
And it's the only swear word on the album, too.
And it probably is. Yeah, it probably is. So then after that, there's an album that they released that I don't know the name of, that I never got.
Simulation Theory.
Simulation Theory. That's the one that was like 80s graphics and like they were using more 80s synths and stuff. And I regret not having that one. I would like to find a copy of that one eventually, but who knows?
The Super Deluxe has 21 songs on it.
It's probably instrumental version. Oh, actually,
acoustic, alternate reality, One acoustic, and then one live. But acoustic gospel version. That would be an interesting.
Let's go. That sounds awesome to me. So I'll look into that. Then they released the masterpiece that is Will of the People, right? There's not an in between, right? Okay, so we've covered pretty much everything. When this album came out, and we talked about it the year on our top 12 albums of the year video, and we talked about it in other videos. We both kind of agreed, I think, if you remember correctly, we agreed that this album sounds like if a record label asked Muse to release a greatest hits, but to record all new songs that would be greatest hits. Remember?
Yeah.
We were like, every song on this feels like it was manufactured from a Muse AI factory, saying like, okay, from Absolution, give us a number one hit song from the Absolution era. Here it is, but brand new, with literally the greatest production I've ever heard, maybe on any album ever. That's how all the songs on this are. And I still maintain to this day that I think the highest resolution, highest fidelity song I have ever heard is You Make Me Feel Like It's Halloween. I knew
you were going to say that.
And I think that's one of my top 5 favorite songs of all time. I really think that song is a perfect, it's as perfect a song as a song can be. Well, it's like perfect. It's everything. I love it. And you can go watch me, I think, cry when I was listening to it for the first time in our reaction, just a little bit. But
it's a good reaction.
It is. And this album deserves all the praise that it got, and the production is fantastic. So now we have reached whatever the hell this new album is.
Wow.
And so I am torn with this because
don't care about what I'm doing.
You're saying, wow, what am I supposed to do?
I know.
How am I supposed to react?
You're just blowing right through it, and it's just, I don't know. It's very, very stupid, and it's fine.
You do that kind of junk all the time, though. You and Chris Schoenberg both do that. You make stupid faces and stuff when I'm trying to be serious, and so I just let it go and be what it is.
Yeah.
So I just saw today, Muse released a new single and a new music video today called Hush, which, as I look on this, my heart flutters with anticipation because it is Muse featuring, in my opinion, the best pop star on the planet for the last 10 years, Ellie Goulding. I think that she is the highest performing pop artist. Well, who's better than Ellie Goulding?
I don't know, Lights?
She's not a pop star.
All right. Well, then that's okay. So now we've got a reasonable category to put this in.
Yeah,
I'm going with pop as music, not pop as certain level of exposure.
Yeah. I'm talking Britney Spears level. Like,
yeah.
You've done several duets with Calvin Harris, like that level of exposure.
You know what? I'll allow it. I don't know enough Ellie Goulding. I know that the one big song I'm aware of sounds so much like Lights that it might as well be her.
Well, it's called Lights.
That
Make
helps.
sure the lights don't stop me, turn to stone.
It's a great song.
Shine.
It's a great song.
But you also know, love me like you do, love me like you do.
I don't like that song, but I was wrong. That other song, the Lights song, that sounds like LaRue. That's where my confusion
Yes. Okay. And I can 1000% see that. And I believe that album came out like this year or two after that LaRue album. Mm-hmm. That album is really great and it's very different. I should have brought all my Ellie Goulding albums. I have all of them except the most recent one because I was going to get the deluxe edition. But Ellie Goulding is one of my favorite pop stars. Her albums have been on my list of top 12s almost every year that they come out. And she consistently surprises me with what she is willing to do. Like, she takes risks as a pop star while still maintaining the I'm like manufactured record label pop whatever. And I'm not saying that to discredit her. I'm saying that's like the level that she's at. Like, she is like Taylor Swift level. I mean, no one's really Taylor Swift level, but she's like that up there, right?
Yeah.
And I just read on the Wikipedia page for this article that the reason she's on this album is because she happened to be recording, which this gets me really excited. She happened to be recording at the same recording studio as them, which, first of all, we might be getting new Ellie Goulding albums sometime in the near future, which would be really great. But she also does like singles and stuff for people all the time. She has so many guest slots.
Cool.
But having her and her voice slice through whatever song Muse could come up with and singing alongside Matt Bellamy,
And it's going to be really interesting because they've never had a guest vocal.
I was just going to say, I think this is the first time that I'm aware of where it's Muse featuring somebody else. So this is a great time for us to go into the Wikipedia article for this album because I have it brought up, and there's very little on this. It's a brand new album, and it's by a huge band, but it's not a band that, people update this stuff probably as much. Like in probably 2 or 3 months, there will be way more on this Wikipedia page. But for right now, like being 4 days since the album was released, or 5 days, there's very little here. But it is interesting. So I want to go through this real quick. Hold on, we'll get to it. Okay, so it says, so it's first of all, this is what it says. It says it's the 10th studio album by Muse, which is really awesome. That's really cool. It says it's there. It was produced by Muse and then a guy named Dan Lancaster, and then 8 of the songs were produced by Dan Lancaster, and 2 of them were produced by Alex von Korff.
Korff, what a name.
And then here we go. It says the band leader Matt Bellamy said Lancaster pushed Muse to create a more modern sound, which is ridiculous because how could you get more modern than this album?
Well, and more modern than Muse doesn't make any sense because they're practically ahead of most curves anyway. But the thing that really sticks out to me about this is like one of the things that we complained about years and years ago, as Muse was starting to get into that weird drones and otherwise era where we were like,
not sure
complaining about them, is that we would criticize the fact that Matt would just go into a room and be the one that was completely responsible for all the production and everything on the album. It's like we need them to bring in someone else and help come up with decisions about why something may not work as well outside of the vacuum of Muse and Matt's little room.
And we talk about that with certain artists too, like a band can be a band for so long and in their own bubble for too long. And when that's the case, that's when it is the correct time to bring in a producer to work with a band and to give over some of the control to them and actually do what they tell you to do.
And that's what it says here. 8 tracks were produced by Dan, 2 by Alex Van Korff. After producing several albums, Muse decided to let go of the reins a little bit. And then Matt Bellamy credits Chris Martin for encouraging him to collaborate more. So this is this is a big deal that they've got these outside producers for the first time in who knows how long.
Right, exactly. Maybe for quite a while. Now, the thing is, that scares me because, as I said, this is, in my opinion, one of the highest fidelity recordings I've ever heard. So if this...
Well, I can't imagine that they would let go of control so far that it makes things worse.
We'll see. We will see if there's any high end in this mix. Because if Paul McCartney can't find the high end, it's hidden so damn far down the rabbit hole that I don't think even Muse could find it. So interestingly enough, this album its genre is listed as space rock, which I find is interesting.
I just saw it just earlier referred to as disco rock.
Interesting. Now, it was recorded at a bunch of different studios, including Abbey Road. I see that. And then one thing, it says the writing of this album, from Matt's standpoint, was that it was all coming from his breakup with his wife. Elle Evans is her name. And she is a model, and they have children together. And so I guess when they were touring with the Will of the People album, they had to cancel some of their leg of the tour because he wanted to just focus on his divorce with his wife and then trying to be in his kids' lives a little bit more through that process. And then when he started writing this album, it says on their Wikipedia page that it's the easiest Muse album that he's ever written. And then it just all poured out of him. Now, I don't know if that just means lyrically, because that could be interesting. I like a dark album and stuff like that. So if it's a bit more personal, that's fine. I don't want it to be too personal. We don't need an Any Man in America Blue October situation where the album's so personal it's uncomfortable to listen to. But
the whole album's
right. I don't think Matt would do that though.
No. The thing that's weird to me, and maybe we'll figure out this as we go along, but like, what in the world does what he is talking about there with his divorce and being a very personal album have to do with the wow signal?
Right, and the cosmic mystery of everything.
Yes.
It says the album explores themes of cosmic mystery and the possibility of contact with something far greater than ourselves, is what it says.
Are you familiar with the actual wow signal? Because it's a real thing.
No, unless it just says here the title is derived from the 1977 narrowband radio signal reported to have suggested the existence of extraterrestrial life. So is that the like radio signal that's been being sent for like?
No, it was. Let's see.
Yeah, see what you can find out.
A strong narrowband radio signal detected on August 15th. Then used to support the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The signal appeared to come from the direction of the constellation Sagittarius and bore expected hallmarks of extraterrestrial origin. Oh. There isn't anything else that happened with this. It was just like a huge blip from space, and it was such a big, intense deal that on the completely abstract nonsense paper that this is being written from, somebody circled it and wrote "wow" with an exclamation point next to it.
Ah.
And so now that's why it's called that.
Interesting. That's cool. I mean, I've heard of similar things like that. Like, I think somewhere in the world there's some radio frequency that's being broadcast, and it has been for like decades or whatever, and they're afraid that when it stops, like the world is going to blow up or something. I've heard of stuff like that. I've heard of different things like that. And I forgot to mention this earlier, but I also have HARP from Muse. Ouch.
Yeah.
Sorry, my hand gets clawed up sometimes. HARP, and then I also have their live at Olympic Stadium in Rome.
Yes.
Is that one? The one you were talking about?
That's the one I just watched the other day.
Okay.
And have owned for who knows how long, and have only, I really think I may have just watched it for the first time like 2 months ago.
We talked about it at the time when you did. Yeah. In another video.
And because I was looking for my HARP disc, because I was certain that HARP was on Blu-ray, but it is not. It is a DVD. And I couldn't believe that was true. But it so is. And there is no Blu-ray of HARP. And it's crazy. But then you go and watch that Blu-ray and you're like, oh yeah, there's no Blu-ray of this. Like the visuals are strikingly different.
Insane. It's like one of the highest fidelity live shows I've ever seen, which is
crazy. It's so good. HARP as a tour, as a show, I like more, but the fidelity of that Blu-ray is undeniable. It's crazy.
And we've talked about this before, I think, too, but like HARP, the thing itself, like HAARP, is the theory that there's that like underground frequency or something. There's like it's like a machine, right, that sends frequencies into the ground to like control the weather, I think, or something like that.
The High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. It's a University of Alaska Fairbanks program which researches the ionosphere, the highest ionized part of the atmosphere. So it's a program that this university has been doing for who knows how. Oh, the current working IRI was completed in 2007. Since 2015, it has been operated by University of Alaska Fairbanks. So it's still active as far as I can tell.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
less science fiction-y than I thought. But I thought there was like a science fiction element to it, kind of like that it did something, control the weather, send frequencies into the ground to like control earthquakes or something. But
probably I could read long enough into this and get into like there's
conspiracy theories.
There's a huge section about that.
Okay, well, there you go.
The
then
pop culture section. So,
but anyway, what we're saying is this kind of all makes sense with what Muse is talking about, right?
Yeah, it fits in big time.
It's kind of fun that they decided to have this album be called this. So, while you were looking that up, I clicked on Dan Lancaster's name. He has worked with artists such as Blink-182, 5 Seconds of Summer, Bring Me the Horizon, The Warning, Lower Than Atlantis, Don Bracco, A Day to Remember, 3 Days Grace. And it says he is a 3-time Grammy nominee for his work with Bring Me the Horizon and Blink-182.
Nice.
Which we are familiar with Bring Me the Horizon's production because I believe he's the dude who's been doing Poppy stuff. One of the guys from Bring Me the Horizon, the band at least.
Yeah. I wonder which Horizon albums he's done.
Let's see. I can scroll down. Wow, he has a huge listing of. Wow, his page is huge. Let's see. Oh, so he's released.
Needless to say, he is aware of how valuable high end probably.
Yes, he should. I feel better now looking at this. Bring Me the Horizon. That's the Spirit. Is the album that he did with
I don't
them.
know that one. He did. Looks like he did. There's something from the new Pendulum album from last year.
Oh, well then we like this guy.
Yeah.
The fact that he's even aware of who Pendulum is. Oh, he also did Hollywood Undead. Never mind. He's like the greatest producer of all time.
Yeah, he's listed as a composer for Pendulum, so who knows what that means.
Okay, very cool. Maybe he's in Pendulum. He did Starset. So Duran Gray, Good Charlotte. Oh, he's done a couple of Duran Gray albums. Some of the Duran Gray albums sound really crappy though. So And that's probably during Gray's album fault, though, not his. He's also done You're Welcome by A Day to Remember. He did Nothing Is True and Everything Is Possible by Enter Shikari. He's done,
Nice.
Okay, this guy's done some great stuff that I consider to be very high quality recordings. So it totally makes sense that he would be working with Muse, and I am not very worried anymore.
He was the mixer for Ammo by Bring Me the Horizon, which is my favorite album of theirs, and it sounds fantastic. So
okay.
Lots of work.
For people, so sure everyone knows, I literally don't think I've heard a single Bring Me the Horizon song ever. So if anyone wants us to do a reaction to that band, let us know. In the comments. I know we've talked about it. People have said we talk about Poppy so much that we need to do them, because especially their last few albums, because the guy from that band is the guy that's now in Poppy's band and is doing all of her stuff.
So Dan Lancaster is the heaviest of hitters, and now I will expect nothing but the greatest production money can buy.
Yep. Now, the only other thing I want to mention is that I saw one review of this album on the internet. I can't remember if I saw it on YouTube or on Facebook, but I literally just saw the title of it. And what it said was, Muse, the Wow Signal review, did they art too hard? Was what it said. And the funny thing about that is, I have always considered Muse to be a bit of an artsy-fartsy type of band. And I have criticized them in the past for Matt's vocal style, because sometimes I'm just like, please just get to the next word. Because he actually like sings and has real vocal melodies, and kind of like Amy Lee with Evanescence, he is not afraid to sing multiple notes in a single word, And so he is not... He will do the, long drawn out notes that with very slow transients, he is like singing. And sometimes that can make my, dumb brain be like, okay, let's go. Come on. Now
that just in singer sings too much for Patrick.
Right, singer sings too much. But now that being said, like we've already said, I really do love some of their stuff a lot. And I think their last album is so phenomenal. I don't think anything else in their catalog other than Absolution comes close to it, in my opinion. But I actually think Will of the People probably is my favorite album of theirs. It's definitely the most enjoyable to listen to, because I do think Absolution is a bit of a slog to get through.
I can see that.
You have to sit through some long songs, and they are kind of the same throughout the whole time. But there's so many great songs on there. And my favorite Muse song of all time is Butterflies and Hurricanes. I think it is phenomenal. So yeah. So I don't know, but that headline, did they art too hard or something like that, was what it was. Makes me kind of like, okay, well, they did Will of the People, and that was such a structured, sort of like intentional feeling, like very accessible album. I think that's definitely the most accessible Muse has ever been. Did they go too far the other direction? Is this going to be too artsy-fartsy?
I hope so. Honestly, I really want to see how wild this can get.
Yeah, and now this is my first time looking at the tracks and seeing the song lengths. So you have like 5, 5:15, 4, 4.5, 5, 3.5, 5.5, 4.5, 4, 4, 5.5. So all pretty meaty songs.
Yeah,
and it's
definitely products of the older world of music, which seems to be a pretty clear divide these days.
You can't fit these songs within a TikTok video.
That's right.
But it looks like this song Unraveling was the big single that they released. It has 22 million plays, almost 23 million. And that song is 4 minutes long. So that's clearly something they released earlier. And then Hush,
what about
I know.
Hexagons?
Hexagons has 4.3 million. Be With You.
I think that was a single. That might be one that I've heard. But
Be With You has a music video, and so does Nightshift Superstar.
Cool.
Those both have music videos, and I know, like I said, today they just unveiled the music video for Hush featuring Ellie Goulding, so I don't know if she's in the music video or not. It'd be cool to check that out. I've never seen a single music video ever. So
really? I guess that's not that surprising. I can only think of maybe one or two. If you'll remember, their last album had the closest they've ever been to metal, I would say.
Yes, with Liberation, was it? Or Won't Stand Down, maybe?
Won't Stand Down, yeah.
And
or
I'm Kill or Be Killed. Yeah.
I'm wondering if they remember that they did that and liked it. Liked how that felt.
I also will say, I hope we get, when we're getting into like what we kind of want from this, which we do before our videos, and people kind of get mad at us. Just get to them. I hope that there's some classical piano on this. That
Guaranteed.
goes without saying because that was something Matt can do. However, they don't really lean into that very often.
Not these days, I suppose, yeah.
No, and they did have the piano-only ballad song on Will of the People, and I really loved that song. But I would love to get some piano in a rock song. And have it be, which they do that a lot, but, we'll have to see. The fact that they're a trio is very different for a band of this size. And I'm so happy that, again, we've seen their live stuff, and it's fantastic, but I'm happy that they don't limit themselves on their albums to only what they can perform live, because that would really be limiting themselves to a super extent. So
it would, honestly, their music, they wouldn't even be able to do it.
No, I don't think so.
40% of every song would be missing.
But the thing is, they're such fantastic musicians. When you do watch them live and stuff, there's tracks playing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't overshadow what they're doing in the moment at all.
And they usually have a fourth guy live.
Okay. I don't remember that being the case, but it totally makes sense that. Right here on the. Actually, I can see in this exact video they have 4 guys right, or on the cover they have 4 guys right there.
Yeah.
So they have a bass player or a keyboard player. Matt's playing guitar, and then they have the drummer. All fantastic musicians. We have talked long enough. Let us move on to track 1.
Let us move on.
The Dark Forest, which is pretty sweet title.
Love the title, absolutely.
Not very science fiction-y. I was expecting to get all science fiction-y stuff here, which we do have Cryogen later, which is super science fiction-y.
Yeah, space debris, hexagons.
Actually, that song has a music video with it too. So they must have been releasing a lot of singles for this, which is pretty cool, but okay. It looks like tracks 3 and 6 and 10 have not been, or 3, 7, and 10 have not been released until the album for sure came out, because it has less than 1 million plays. Every other song has over 1 million. So,
all right.
Okay, this is track 1 from Muse's The Wow Signal, The Dark Forest, in 3, 2, 1. This is so fun because we have no idea what to expect. It could be literally anything. So if we get to a song that sounds familiar to you because you think you've heard it, let me know, but otherwise we'll assume you haven't heard it. Okay,
all right.
Love this. We're in EBM territory here.
I love I love that.
Yes.
Very Egyptian, Middle Eastern sounding.
Yes.
They always do this.
Drums sound very far away and roomy for now. I assume they'll change. I hope they change.
These weird orchestral swells.
That's probably real orchestra, right?
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't sound the highest. There's not the highest of high frequencies in this. We'll see. Stay quiet and still unobserved. Voice very clear, very in the middle, totally dry. Flow from the machines, they won't die. A god made of nickel and cyanide, broadcasting reckless confessions. We will all beg for extinction. Doom is our last invitation.
His sibilance is weird.
It kind of is, yeah. It's the compression on them and the mic. I'm a little worried, Chris. There's no high end to hear here in anything we've heard so far.
Different song?
It sounds like it. You know, this...
Fearless. I am fearless.
Did they art too hard?
Yeah, right? Is it... Now, I like progressive stuff, so...
Of course.
A more progressive Muse... I mean, they're pretty progressive as it is. Love the... I think that's... That could all be Matt.
I think it is.
But it's pretty sweet.
That extra percussion's cool. I wish it was a little bit closer, cleaner.
Let's go. No high frequency whatsoever.
None.
It is gone. They lost it. Paul McCartney, you lost it for everybody.
We've run out.
Oh, yeah, you're right. We've run out of... Okay, let's not let it bother us. I mean, it will, but that's okay. Imagine if this was clear sounding instead of muddy. How great this would be. That ride symbol's hiding on the right side. Oh, no, he switched over. Love the solo going this whole time. I like the buzzy sounding, like fly sounding guitar. I really love guitars that sound like that.
He's got a custom XY pad built into one of his guitars that he uses to make sounds like this live all the time.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's how he's doing it here too.
Okay, we'll pause it.
Well, that's not the most re-listenable song I've ever heard.
I was going to say that, you know, that reminded me of an aspect of Muse that we didn't really touch on at all. The very theatrical side of Muse. Mm-hmm. And to me, again, and this is kind of something that turns me off of something rather than getting me really excited about it, but like, there is a reason that I don't care for Bohemian Rhapsody. And it's that Bohemian Rhapsody is not a song. Bohemian Rhapsody is like a theater production. You know, it should be performed on a stage with a choir of people, and like, it's not a song. It doesn't belong on the radio, in my opinion.
I think that,
and
I don't know if I would go
vibes.
Right. I don't know if I would go so far as to say Bohemian Rhapsody is not a song, but I definitely agree it doesn't belong on the radio.
Right. I mean, you know what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
but I know exactly what you're saying, and I totally get that with this. There's been plenty of parallels. People have talked about how Muse sounds like Queen all the time, and it is, I would say, ultimately the register Matt tends to sing in, and the gang vocals that they use a lot. And
yeah, the crazy big part harmonies. And they even had a song on Will of the People that was like, I think specifically supposed to be like a Queen sounding thing. I think it was either Liberation or Won't Stand Down. But
and then they've had other ones, like there's a Euthanasia song from a different album that is very, very Queen. And yeah, it's just a constant thing that they have going. And
very theatrical. For sure.
Yeah, that's not the catchiest song I've ever heard.
No.
I wonder if there will be a lack of listenability to this.
I wonder about that too.
Listen to the whole album and it sounds good, and depending, and it is like, it's a good album, but did they art too hard? I would say alludes to it isn't particularly listenable.
Right.
Like, you don't put it on at parties. You don't listen to it in the car. You know, it becomes a whole thing where you sit down and you're like, ah. But it is like, nobody does that. And it is like, what is the demographic? And I don't want to say like, who is this for? Because ultimately it's for them. That's who they make art for themselves. And we are lucky enough to receive it. Mm-hmm. But I could see that going that way.
Well, and okay, so two things on that. First thing is, this track gave me intro vibes. right?
Yes.
If this song was a third of the length, it would be like, that was a sweet intro. So it kind of felt like an intro song that they just stretched into a pretty epic, long, 5-minute long song that was kind of cool. And if the point of this track was to show us what the album's going to be like, you know, strings, choirs, this big epic feel to it, then that's awesome. And I want all of those elements now packed inside of like more accessible shells of songs. That's what I want.
Yes. And nothing about this felt particularly sci-fi. Like, I'm imagining, we were talking about the upcoming live tour and how it's going to be huge and that they're planning to build a spaceship and all this other stuff. And it's like, where does this song fit in the building of a spaceship?
Now, the other thing I want to say too is a band like Muse, who their live performance is so important to them. Clearly, it's a huge part of their existing as a band, maybe even like the biggest part other than Matt writing the songs. When you are a band like this and they have such a back catalog, you can afford to write an album like this if let's just say the whole thing is what we just heard there, and it is, like you were saying, less accessible, less re-listenable, less intentional, I guess, or less focused maybe. They can get away with that because they can play one of these crazy out there songs from this album and then play Undisclosed Desires or Hysteria next and bring the people back in. You know what I mean?
And honestly, I mean, like you said, their previous album was only singles. So they could swing it back the other direction or do something wildly different.
And it would totally make sense, like, if they did that on purpose. Like, let's give them this, and now we're going to give them this. Now, we know, I don't think that that's the case, or they would have said that in the wiki article. And all it said was that this album was influenced by his breakup.
Yeah.
So maybe it said that his breakup in there was like the biggest thing happening to him in his life, and he wanted to focus on his kids and stuff. So that could be a very big bombastic feeling that he had. Now we have to talk about. There's nothing is sacred anymore, Chris. Why? How can this? There's literally at this point I will never be surprised if any artist that I've ever loved for no matter how many years just decides to not have any high end in their music. What the hell is going on in the music industry where this is okay? So now, we only heard the first track, and we have experienced albums where all of a sudden there's one or two songs on an album that sound way better. So we'll point that out if that gets to this. But I distinctly heard a lack of high frequencies in this, which was so abundant and so clear on all of their previous releases. Over the last week or so, I've been going through and listening to some of their albums, and I listened to a bit of Drones. I listened to The Resistance. I listened to Will of the People all the way through in its entirety in one sitting. And usually when I do stuff like that, I sit down and listen to it at night as I'm falling asleep, so I don't get more than 3 or 4 songs into an album. But Will of the People kept me like the whole time. I listened to the whole thing front to back. It's not a super long album, but every one of their albums is like super high fidelity, I would say. And that even includes, I think, Absolution. I think Absolution has really good sound. It's a lot more raw feeling. I did not listen to any of Black Holes and Revelations, and I think the mixing of that album is one of the problems I have with it. But I haven't listened to it in so long that we would have to discuss that in a video if we do that.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is, from the first track we heard, doing the thing that modern music does. Now, we did get an interesting comment on our Paul McCartney video, Chris, where we were talking about this. Someone was saying that it has to do with a compressor plugin that has been prominent for the last like 5 to 10 years that is considered like an industry standard, that it like cuts off the high frequency to help boost the signals of music, like to bring the volume of music up louder. And that was their theory, that it was this specific style
Did they say which one?
Compression. I don't think I'd have to go back and look, but they were basically saying that it was, I don't even remember for sure if they said a specific plugin, but they said that it is the compression on the mastering, which is what we thought was the case was happening. But Paul McCartney's album threw a wrench into those monkey works, right? Because Paul McCartney, for those of you who are not Paul McCartney fans, which is fine. But we did a reaction to the newest Paul McCartney album that came out 2 weeks ago here on the channel. Me and Cody did it, one of the other guys that we do reactions with here. And that album, I complained the first 7 songs that if Paul McCartney, like literally one of the most respected and biggest higher up people on the food chain of the music industry, if his album doesn't have any high end in it, there's something wrong in the music industry. And then we got to track 8, and tracks 8 through 16 sounded perfectly fine. They had high frequency in them. It sounded breathy. It didn't sound overcompressed. And it was still the same volume. It just sounded like it was recorded in a different place with different things on it, and they mastered it differently. But that's not the case. Usually everything is
Were there multiple
mastered.
producers on that album?
There was tons of people that worked on it.
Yeah.
And there was one person, though, that was listed as a mastering engineer. So it was all mastered by the same person. So because we have been having this problem on the channel here for the last
years,
since we've been doing these reactions which we started in 2021. So like the for some reason at all levels of music, all levels of professionalism in the music industry, no matter what kind of an artist you are, it has just become acceptable to not have high frequencies in your mixes. And it's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, and that was actually one of the main reasons I wanted to bring Alex Brandon on, because he was talking so much about how he had been talking to the producer from Yes, and he's been doing this stuff for such a long time, and he's really, really sharp. And I thought, if there's anybody that I have direct, immediate access to as a friend that I think might be able to help us answer this question, it might be him. So, because I really want to know what's going on too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
it's like to think about like all the different reasons that I could think for why that might be the case. You know, one of them leans on the changes in the way that people have been listening to music over the last decade. And like, you know, phone speakers, laptop speakers, all that stuff. And maybe
Streaming
phone
platforms.
speakers are a part of this because the highs in your phone are like the focal point, because that's all you get out of a phone is highs.
Right.
And so maybe they're way too sharp coming from something like that. But you'd think you would master out the lows and keep the highs, because that's all that comes out of smaller, you know, consumer speakers. And that just doesn't, that's the opposite of what's happening. And so it is really, really strange.
Yeah, I don't know. And I'm starting to wonder if we are wording our critique of this wrong, and that it isn't a high frequency problem, that it is more of a compression problem. But I don't think that that's the case, because you and I know what overcompression sounds like. We have heard Death Magnetic. We know what that sounds like. And that album has high frequencies in it. It's just smashed to hell. So, okay.
But they're all there.
Yeah.
They're all just, everything is the same volume.
We'll continue this conversation and point things out in the mix. Usually, when an album has this problem, it becomes much more apparent the more things are happening in a song, especially drums. And I'm not saying that part of a song can sound good and then when more stuff starts to happen. I mean, we talked about that with the Chevelle album from last year, where when that was a compression issue, and we knew it was because that was what was happening. When the more things started happening in a song and the song started to get bigger arrangement wise, the mix started to feel smaller because it didn't feel like it was getting bigger as more instruments were being added. That is a compression issue. But what we're talking about is a lack of defining high frequencies. So let's listen to some more music. We'll see if we can point something out, and maybe this second track will be fantastic sounding. But if nothing else, when we're done listening to this, we will go back and forth a few times between Will of the People and this album and see if the people watching can tell a difference. And we'll see. So, okay, on to track 2. This is one of the singles, Nightshift Superstar, in 3, 2, 1.
Rush beneath my skin, I drown within silver sweat you shine, infused with mine, sell my soul.
Wow, Matt's singing really different here.
It feels divine.
Ooh.
Kills the pain.
Oh, I love this.
Again.
Oh, yeah.
Now I can't stay clean. You're my darkest dream. I need you one more time.
There's a lot of highs happening here.
But not in the freak.
Oh boy.
A Nightshift superstar. She's running from the light.
Still lacking the highs, but man, this is awesome.
Listen to that bass.
Ooh.
It almost sounds phasey.
Yeah. The bass is giving me Under the Influence of Giants vibes.
This whole song has that vibe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
With like disco strings. Oh, you said disco earlier. Didn't you say disco
I did,
rock?
yeah. Disco
Dude,
rock,
let's
yeah.
go.
Oh, boy.
Okay. Okay.
Now, this is a song.
Yes. We'll try something we do on the channel here sometimes. I'm going to boost the high frequencies and see if we can tell a difference, okay? When I point at the camera, they'll go on, and then later on, I'll point again, and they'll go off. And I'll do it throughout the video as we go. We don't need to bring it up, but I want to do it in the middle of sections, not when a song is changing. So we'll do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe there will be no heavy guitars on this album at all.
Yeah. Is anything missing with this lack of highs?
I would say the clarity, like the crispiness, is completely gone. Now, you can tell everything was recorded miraculously. So this is a mixing problem.
Man, that bass is so good.
Yes. I love the drums, too.
Yep.
Okay, we'll turn off the high boost.
Nice.
Children's choir. I think it's just pitch shifted vocals. Vocoder.
I feel like I know what you mean by these. Like, sometimes the thing with the highs doesn't hit me the way it hits you.
Yeah.
But I'm feeling it. I know what you mean.
Like, I totally understand how someone could listen to this and be like, it sounds fine to me.
Yeah.
But there's something missing, and that's what it is. It's the highs.
This is a song, man.
This is awesome. You'll have to download a plugin or find something on your computer that you can have running in real time that shows you the output of your computer and the frequencies that are happening
I can do that.
from your output, and just see if everything from like 8K is just not there, or it's 5K.
It'll be there. Yeah, it'll be there for that for sure. But yeah, I'll do it. I can show you. I'll show you.
Yeah, see what you think. If you can find something. Okay, we'll pause. I was so into that, I wasn't even like... That was awesome. Incredible.
What a jam. What a jam.
The only thing that is bothering me is that lack of fidelity, the lack of, like, crispiness. You know? It sounds like someone covered the speaker with their hand, like a big hand. Like, it sounds like what I would do if I do this.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds like, okay, you hear me talking right now, everybody, and Chris, you hear me talking, and then I just put my hand in front of my face. And that's what the whole thing sounds like. And
really good explanation.
it's missing the clarity.
And of course, if you were to start like this,
Right,
time,
you don't notice as much.
nobody notices, and then you do this, and it's like, oh,
Right.
garbage.
Now, right, and I will say, I worked for 7 years at a recording studio in Omaha, Nebraska, with a guy who was an older gentleman, one of the greatest people I'll ever meet. His name was Cleet. Chris, you got to meet him a few times.
Yep.
And
Wonderful guy.
he'd been in the audio industry for 40 years at that point. Worked on so many things that the people watching this video would know. But one of the things I was doing with him was we recorded a lot of speech. We recorded a lot of people talking. And one of the things you learn about when you just study or, deal with, have a lot of time, I guess, invested in editing. Also, I've edited podcasts for the last 14 years too. So like when you deal with speech, if you record audiobooks or do things like that, you understand that when people are speaking, the diction in what they're saying, the clarity in what they're saying is all the high frequencies, right? Mm-hmm. There's like a boominess in a chest voice that people use, and there's like the part you feel is the lows and the mid ranges. Mm-hmm. That's what you feel, and when you go to a concert, that's what you feel. But what you understand is the highs. That's what gives clarity to everything. When you hear something that's high fidelity sounding to you, those vinyl records from the 70s and the cassette tapes but specifically the 70s had these like high fidelity vinyl record recordings that were just like insane sounding, and it's all this like crispy high frequencies in everything because technology had gotten better and better to the point where they could record things quieter with required less denoising, tape saturation, tape denoise software and stuff, not software, like things. And anyway, sorry, we're getting too deep into all this, but like those crispy high frequencies that you hear that you're missing when I do this, that is just what lends itself to being understood when you're talking, right? If you listen to an audiobook that was recorded like this, and then you listen to another audiobook that was recorded like this, it would be hard to go back. And the problem is, for me, I notice it immediately when we start listening to anything. And again, I urge everyone to go check out the Paul McCartney album because it's really funny, right? We were listening to that album. It's called the Boys of Dungeon Lane is what the album's called. It just came out a couple weeks ago, and it's what
phenomenal. A frustratingly Paul McCartney title that is.
Yeah, and it may end up being on my list very easily. It could be. It's phenomenal. Like every song is phenomenal, and I wanted to have a whole conversation with you in this video, Chris, about what genre of music it actually is, but we don't have time because we wasted so much. But like go listen to the first 7 songs. Just put it on while you're doing your chores around the house. And this is for everybody, not just Chris. But like go put it on while you're doing whatever. Listen to the first 7 songs, and I guarantee you will notice a difference on track 8. And then for the rest of the album, it will just sound better to you.
Weird.
It will.
Weird.
Now, and I tried in the video, I went back and forth from like songs from the first half of the album, songs from the second half, and it was harder to tell a difference going back and forth than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be super obvious.
That's weird because AB is like that's the fastest way to tell.
And you could I do believe that you could tell. However, in that case, there were other things going on, like Paul McCartney's vocals across the whole album, even on the songs that sounded better, they were lacking highs the entire time. So his voice was recorded that way. Whatever happened to him on every track. But the music lacked fidelity and clarity on the first 7 songs. The second set of 7 songs had that there into it.
I have an idea.
Okay.
We'll take a couple of songs, not all like from one artist, but we'll handpick a couple of songs from albums where we know that the highs are totally blech.
Yep.
And then grab a couple, 2 or 3 from albums where it's just not as good as it gets. And then just do a high pass filter that starts at like 5K.
Oh, interesting.
Just cut out the top bits and compare them to each other.
Yeah, that's a good that's interesting. That's a great
because that'll be a really great way of isolating what seems to be missing, and even just see, like they're not the same songs, they're not the same instrumentation, but just seeing how much extra headroom there is on the highs in the ones that sound really nice. I bet there's a difference.
I think you're absolutely right. And it's so funny because we have talked about this in every freaking video, but like,
I hate that we have to so much, but I think it's always here now.
I do think it's a combination of things too. And that's kind of one of the things that frustrates both of us, when we talk about this, I don't think it's one specific thing that's happening. However, I'm starting to think, since it's like every level of professionalism in music, I am literally starting to wonder if there is just some, like, let's just say off the top of my head, Ableton cannot produce frequencies over a certain thing, and the dudes who use Ableton in their studio cannot make like some weird thing like that. Like that it's like a third of all music being created is using this one program that for some reason when you bounce a song from it, Like in Sony Vegas, when you render a video in Sony Vegas, no matter what video it is, it makes it darker when you render it, no matter what it is. It's insane that happens in a professional piece of software. But
there are several things in Sony Vegas that sentence could apply to.
Yeah,
it is insane that this happens in a professional piece of software.
Yeah, I know. So, but like, I'm starting to wonder if there's some like industry standard that like is so standard people don't notice. And we've talked about it too. It has to do with the speakers you're listening on, how you consume music, like Chris Schoenberg would argue that you should never listen to music on headphones. You should only listen on really good speakers. But it's like, if I was
That's a silly thing to say.
I know, he's a silly person. But like, if I was listening to this in a car, I don't think I would be able to tell.
Absolutely not.
No
way.
If I was just sitting in the quiet listening in a car, I think so. But when you're in a car, you're not sitting in the quiet.
Well, none of that. Cars.
Stereos are
so many
heavy.
hard reflective surfaces in a car.
Yes.
Like that's the type. And here's the thing too: is the type of listening that we get by virtue of doing headphones is something that is unique to headphones.
Yeah.
Like for example, when I watch like cartoons or something, it's something animated, something with voiceover on headphones, you can hear the room that they're in.
Yes.
Because of the isolation of the headphone. But when you watch it on speakers, TV, whatever, as nice as they are, you will not hear that because it is masked by the sound of your own room.
Exactly. 100%. Yep. Did you put your phone down by your microphone again?
I put it over here, but it's been over here the whole time. I'm hearing that buzz too, but it's not the phone.
Okay, who knows? Well, that's all right. But anyway.
It's a weird problem that keeps happening lately.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, and so it... I do think that there's plenty of merit to listening to stuff on headphones because you're using it as a tool for a specific purpose.
For sure. And that, in my opinion, it is the correct way to listen to music. Well, I don't want to say the correct way. I think it's the best way. It is
the best way to do anything, like
what
to
we're
listen
doing.
to it if you're being analytical.
Sure. And even if you want to get as close to the music as possible, there's no way you could say you can do it. This is the closest way. And that's the way I choose to have music. Now, however, that being said, like, again, if I want to feel music, there is nothing better than like having it on these big, awesome speakers be blasting at me. Like,
or doing Molly, but that's a different.
Well, I can't speak to that, but I can't, like, oh, by the way, hold on, Chris, sorry. Okay, sorry. Let's listen to track 3 and then we'll complain about it more. Probably, because this ain't going to change the way it sounds, but who knows? That was a banger song, though. Sorry, everybody. We didn't talk about the song. That was a fantastic song.
It really was. I'm so happy that I got really ahead of myself with that first track because of the way it sounded, but you're right. Sure. It is super intro-esque, and this is proper music. That song is fantastic.
Yep. So we'll see what happens. I liked our idea of there maybe not being heavy guitars on the album, and that being one of the things that people were missing. Because I have also seen like allusions to some reviews of this album being like bad reviews or confusing reviews to just like things I've seen as I scroll past it, but I haven't read anything because I hate reading reviews before we do a reaction because it can totally taint my opinion of an album.
Big time.
Yeah. I Absolutely. Hate that. Okay, track 3. This is a brand new one. No one's ever heard it until this album was released a couple days ago, according to the plays. Until this video, yes. Shimmering Scars. Oh, I thought it was stars. Shimmering Scars in 3, 2, 1. Go.
Also, the Shure SM7B dynamic microphone everybody uses sounds like garbage. It has no highs in it. That makes me crazy.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, people do love those.
This summer, you withdrew further and gave a little less. You took the sun away. You say you're with me.
I recognize this progression.
Right
okay.
Me. I'll never understand how it slipped away. All I ever dreamed of has fled to the stars and hides in the dark. And everyone I reached for, they tear me apart, encoding my heart with shimmering scars. Stonewall silence.
Let's go.
I beg for guidance. but every vow we made unraveled.
Those are strings. They're doing the
Yeah.
tapping on their strings thing. Oh, I love
Can't
that.
remember the name of it. I should.
Yeah, very cinematic sounding this.
We stamped the embers out. I carried half the blame.
Very clock evoking.
I ever dreamed of.
Listen to this. Yeah.
The hi-hat? Yeah, let's go.
Yep.
It's on the wrong side, but I'll forgive them.
He's left-handed. And he does play with his hi-hat on the other side.
I feel like he should be obligated to play on the other side. Whoa, the bass. Let's boost the highs again. We'll wait till he starts singing again before we...
This is a very Hans Zimmer song.
This is awesome.
It's just like the Interstellar soundtrack. Like it evokes all these clock ticking elements, this big organ thing. This is very Hans Zimmer.
Okay, very cool. If this whole album is more orchestral, which we've gotten on every song, then if it sounded good, this would be my favorite Muse album.
This is definitely the Halloween organ from the previous album.
Oh, sure, yes. 100%. Same patch.
Yep.
What still remains? I don't wanna break.
Listen to those drums.
I know, right? I can just imagine how they'd be with that little bit extra high.
I know, what monster ruined this? Okay, let's take the high frequency off and see if it sounds jarring.
I carried half the blame. All I ever dreamed of is fed to the stars and hides in the dark.
I would love nothing more in my life, Chris, than for us to realize both of our headphones just happened to break a couple years ago.
Yeah. Or the problem really is that we're just getting old and we can't hear those frequencies anymore.
But the problem is we still hear fantastic sounding music, so it ain't...
Yes.
But I wish that would be the case, so that... Because this is phenomenal.
It's so good.
This song is amazing.
This is going to be so good live, man.
I'll bet it will. I'll have to buy the live DVD and CD combo just to hear the song sounding good. Although they'll probably screw that up too.
This is crazy how huge this is, but it's all in here.
Yeah.
Even with the diminished headroom.
Yeah. The guitars there were really cool. They were doing some really neat like lead stuff, but it didn't feel leady at all.
And that bass really is
Yeah.
the secret lead. And it
Yeah.
was right there in the middle. Just
Awesome.
loud and proud. What a
So,
weird ending.
I love that. I would say if you just asked me like, what's your favorite style of song? And just, I would say song that starts really little and then gets really big. And
Yeah.
you know, and that's really being generalizing a lot. But like, man,
Yeah.
do I love.
But it's so real.
Yeah, I love those songs that start small and then they grow and explode. And they don't just have to explode at the end. It can be a gradual growing too. But like, I just love songs that start small and then get big, and there's a reasoning for it, and it feels like the song takes you on a journey, and that's what that did. That song was so awesome. And you know, we here on the channel do not focus on lyrics ever, and the lyrics are not
No
available.
idea what he said.
Lyrics are not available on this, but I will say at the beginning when he was singing with the piano, I was paying attention to the lyrics, and it was
That's all there was to pay attention to.
Right, it
Yeah.
was very personal though. Like that was clearly about like a breakup.
Very much so.
So,
And it's
like-
we got to break up ballad in song 3.
Yeah.
But it turned into so much more than that.
It did. Very orchestral though, like you were saying, Hans Zimmer-esque
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's funny, the whole start small, end up big thing. Like, as a lifelong Final Fantasy fan, one thing that I learned later in life was more exclusive to that particular game series than JRPGs in general is the progression of, help me find my cat, and then by the time you get to the end of the game, kill God.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
And it's like, it's exactly the same thing where it's like the best, because I've played other JRPGs where it's like, you're the chosen one, and then you go and you do a bunch of chosen one stuff, and you get to the end, and you're like, see, hooray, and then it's over. Like it was just a
Right.
story, like weight and intensity was very linear and flat. But that is very much the same thing you're talking about, where it's like you start off and you've helped someone find their cat, and then it snowballs, and then by the end you've killed God somewhere, either back in time, forward in time, or all time at once.
Sure.
And that's the song version of that, where it's like a singing dude with the piano, and by the end it's the biggest, most outrageous thing you've ever heard, but it always has a progression up to that point.
Yep.
And it's fantastic.
And one of the things I love about songs like that is that it's harder to make those types of songs because you have to be a good songwriter to do those types of songs right. Like,
yeah.
When I started noticing that that's the style of music that I really, when I listen to an album that has songs like that on it, that those are my favorite songs on those types of albums, is with all symphonic metal that I listen to, because if you are in the symphonic metal genre, it means that you have, not to say that other genres of music aren't as complicated, but there is an inherent level of complexity that goes along with symphonic metal that doesn't exist in other styles of music, because you have both the intensity and the technicality of metal, but also the perfectionism and the technical complexity of performing an orchestra or symphonic music. And to have those things together in a ballad song where you can just have, nowadays you can have synth pads and things that act like strings, but back in I can't even say that. That's a stupid thing to say. But so I didn't say it. So I don't sound stupid. Except I do now, because I'm rambling about nothing. Anyway.
You'll edit it all out, so it's fine.
No. That's all staying in because it's funny. But
okay.
The idea that you can start a song with a piano and vocals, and then just little strings come in, and then they bloom, and then the drums come in on the first chorus or the second chorus or the beginning of the second verse, and just then you build the song from there. It's a formula that works so well when you have an orchestra or a string section at your disposal, because you can have so much subtlety with that kind of instrumentation, and so much instrumentation in metal music and heavy music doesn't have any subtlety at all. It's really hard to do subtle, and especially because you can't have subtle sitting on top of bombastic stuff, right? And classical music has mastered how to do things like that for the last 2,000 years. So it's like, I think that this album and that style of song in particular speaks to me because it was basically a symphonic metal song, right? It was basically just strings, orchestra, the drums come in, then guitars came in during the chorus. It went through the whole journey of the song, and it was awesome. That was great.
It was awesome. And honestly, I would say it is a type of song that Muse is very historically good at. They do this kind of stuff all the time.
1,000%. Okay, let's move on to Cryogen, which has a very specific science fiction-y feel just to the name, so we'll see if we get more electronics in this or not. Not that we necessarily would, but we'll see what happens. Okay, this is back to another single in 3, 2, 1.
This is very showbiz.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the big song Plug-in Baby, which might be an origin to symmetry, but it's very Plug-in Baby.
This is them just being a trio, right?
Yep. This is them being Muse live.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Origin of Symmetry for Plug-in Baby.
Which, the last song on their previous album, We Are Effing Effed, that was just a rock song. Like, there was nothing to it other than them performing live in the studio, basically, doing it live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so now some more stuff came in. I was curious if this song was going to be like that, but there's more layering now.
A little bit of Evanescence in that vocal progression.
Interesting. I was just listening to the riff because it was just a super simple riff. Da 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 da. Super simple.
The first time he said "Never Cry Again," that was like it had a little bit of Evanescence to it.
Okay. Oh, the bass. Let's go. They let him loose.
Hell yeah.
You know what? Remind me to bring up reactions after this. Okay. And if the reaction culture has possibly allowed them to feature on bass more. Just hold on. I'll bring it up at the end when the song goes. Let's go. See, we're already to the bridge, but we have over half the song to go.
It'll probably be a different song here in a second.
Probably. Oh, I love the bass in this.
He's really gone wild.
Yeah, they're really using the bass to its fullest potential here. Strings. What was that? Was that Matt? Whoa.
Weird.
Yeah. Vocoder. That is the simplest guitar riff ever, and I love it. I love it when Matt does like distorted vocals and then they kind of transition that into like a lead guitar. They do that in Muse a lot. It's so cool when it works good.
Here we go.
Yep, here we go. Blow us
drop
away.
it.
Uh-oh, they're building it up.
Mud.
He's Larsing it.
There's no high end in this.
Nope.
It feels like my ears broke.
Let's try boosting it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, even this sounds better high end wise than that one section.
Yeah, that was really bad. All right, let's take it off.
Nice, man.
You know, there's something about just such a simple guitar riff. Da 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 da. Like that's like literally the foundation for like millions and millions of songs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I could play that on the guitar like with one finger and a toe. You know what I mean? Like that's so simple and stupid. But like, man, it feels so familiar when you listen to it because it's been used so much that when you listen to this, you're just like, oh man, this is great. And then to have them progress the song the way they did, and then having, I mean, even though it sounded kind of crappy, that like part, really loved it. Great. We're 3 for 3 for fantastic songs in a row right here.
I was just gonna say, just throwing the high frequency thing aside, I'm like really growing very excited for this album. Like
I know.
It just keeps bringing the heat.
I agree. Me too. They're doing the same thing they did last time, which was just every song is a completely different approach to what I would want Muse to make a song like. Mm-hmm. Which we joked about it last time. Like, why wouldn't you want to make every album the way that they made Will of the People, which is just like having every single song be a single representing a different one of your previous singles, which sounds like such a like sellouty type of way of looking at it. But it's like, man, they're doing it here again. Yeah. And it's just like I said, what monster cut the frequencies off. So hopefully, obviously, Chris and I are not hearing the EQ thing that I'm doing during the songs. But when I edit the video and I go through, I try to do it as like judicially as possible so that it's like, if that makes sense, like I boost generally in every one of these videos. What I do is I boost just the high frequencies from like maybe 6 to 7K up like close to 3 dB. Sometimes it's like 2.2 to like 2.9 dB loud. Whatever I do though, I take a screenshot of the actual EQ that I'm using, and whenever it's on in the video, I have the screenshot of the EQ actually there, so you see exactly what's happening. And some albums it makes an enormous difference. Some albums it doesn't, because the high frequency literally doesn't exist in the mix at all. Like with that Modest Mouse album, it didn't help as much as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
But sometimes it makes a huge difference. For example, I was listening. I didn't want to edit our Raunchy single that we reacted to because it just disappointed me so bad, because for those of you watching, Raunchy is my favorite metal band of all time, and they haven't released an album for 12 years, and they released a single that we reacted to when we recorded our first Evanescence reaction here like 2 months ago, and I haven't edited the video and put it out because I didn't want to listen to the song again. Which is a bummer, because it's like one of my favorite bands of all time. And so I finally went and edited it the other day, and when I was boosting the high frequencies just 2 dB, it made like all the difference in the world. It still didn't make it sound phenomenal or anything like that, but I know that I'll be able to listen to the album and enjoy it more when I do that to the whole thing, which is what I had to do with their previous album from 12 years ago. But like sometimes when I do that, it makes a difference. So I'm just saying, I hope for everybody watching the video that you can tell the difference, and that I hope it makes a good positive difference, and then I'll have to buy this album and then rip the CD and then apply that effect on it and then burn myself another CD and then listen to that. But then that kind of disqualifies it for me from being on the top 12. I
feel like you shouldn't do a full disqualification, but maybe like a 3 to 5 place penalty.
That's what I did last year with The Pretty Wild. Remember, they would have been my number 3 album, but they ended up my number 7. So exactly what you just said. That's probably what will happen with this, because if every song continuing is as good as the 3 we just heard, how could this not be on my list? So
yeah.
Do you have anything to say about that one in particular, or just ready to move on?
No.
Ready to move on.
There's a lot of things in it that sounded familiar. You had mentioned wanting me to remind you about reactors and bass.
Oh, yes. The only thing I was going to say is, since reaction content has become such a big deal, since like Will of the People was probably being recorded during COVID. It was a COVID album, and which it came out in 2022. I just looked at it. So it was probably being recorded 2021 into 2022. And that was when reaction culture was at its height during COVID, when people were staying home and watching reaction stuff the most. But I don't know if and again, this is just my conjecture, but like Muse is a fantastic band to look up reactions to, because it blows people's mind. Like people.
Yeah, I remember especially with that previous album, when they dropped that one song I was talking about earlier.
The heavy one.
The heavy one. Yeah. Reactions were all over my YouTube feed for that, and I watched several. For
sure. And I think going back to like Absolution and Hysteria specifically is like, I think the number 1 song that people react to from this band. And so when people react to Muse,
Stockholm Syndrome is such a better song.
They say 2 things. They say, wow, the vocalist is incredible. And they say the bass playing is incredible. And so my reason for bringing it up was only to say, like, if they are the type of people that consume any of the content based around their music, which they probably aren't. And Matt is such a theatrical type of musical person that I doubt that he's comfortable watching someone react to his music. I bet that would probably bother him quite a bit, especially since he had complete control over it.
Man, I don't know. He's been doing this his whole life, and he's the biggest thing since Mario. And I just don't. I think what you could do at a certain point.
I don't think so. I think
there's no way.
There are some people that just literally can never do it. Like they'll never. There are people in huge bands that have never heard any of their finished albums.
I mean, there is that for sure. Like Johnny Depp won't watch anybody in his own movies, for example. It's a thing, but I just don't. I don't know. I don't feel like. I just can't imagine Matt Bellamy watching a stranger tell YouTube what they think of his new song. It's not. I just can't imagine it would bother him.
I don't know. See, I don't think that that's a far cry for anything. But however, that my point was just going to be that people fawn over the bass playing in Muse a lot because they is like one of the only bands to feature, like prominently feature bass playing in their bigger hits. And so I'm curious if like people being so positive about the bass playing, they were like, hey, let's go ahead and just boost the bass knob up to 11 on this. Not that they're boosting the volume, but like take the knob on the back of the bass player and turn it up a notch and feature him a little bit more because he is being featured on this. Every song has featured really cool bass stuff.
I think
not that it hasn't before.
No, I know. I think it's either Resistance or Second. Not Resistance sounds too old, but it might be Second Law, where there is one song that is entirely Chris Wolstenholme. He plays the bass, and obviously, and he sings the whole song. It's all him, vocals. And it makes me wonder, like, I also know that Wolstenholme has like 9 children.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, what do we got to do to keep him in the band?
Well, if they want to keep living in their huge mansion, which hopefully they do actually have, then they'll stay in the band.
A great big gold one, I hope.
Yeah, I hope so, but because he deserves it. But I don't know. And again, bass has been a huge prominent feature in a lot of their songs, so it's not. I'm just saying.
But it could also be. There's also the element of like, as TV shows get up there, like into the later seasons, say 7, 8, 9 plus. We've got these side characters we haven't ever really explored. Let's reach to them for some new, fresh stories that we can dig into on something that's pretty much walked out. And it's like, we've been making a bunch of songs. Let's have, Wolstenholme write some stuff. Let's have, bass carry a bunch of these songs. Just try to mix it up as things go further into the future.
And we know too, like when you're making essentially a lot of these things, a lot of the songs everything we've heard so far has a very electronic feel to everything, right? The drums are all replaced. There's synth bass. The first track started with this sweet synth bass sound, and then it transitioned into actual bass. But like Muse has whole songs that don't have any real bass in them. Like they just do. And so it makes sense that they would try to feature the bass more on certain other songs. And especially like Will of the People, there's a lot of electronic stuff on that album. I do think that because it's such high fidelity and such a high quality of recording that the real bass sounds just as good as the synth bass, which is not something that I would say is a general rule in music. I would definitely say that any sort of synthetic bass, whether it's synth bass or a real sounding fake bass, usually sounds light years better than a real recorded bass recording, but Muse just sounds so fantastic across the board that they can get away with mixing real bass and fake bass together in the same song, and you can tell the difference, but they sound equally as high fidelity and professional. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll just see if the bass continues to be a featured instrument as we go through.
Yep.
So we're on to Be With You, which is it looks like the second biggest single. Does have a music video with it. This has 9 million plays. So we'll see if this is one you've heard before. All right. This is Be With You in 3, 2, 1. Uh-oh. Are we getting another Halloween-y one?
No. It's going to be gay.
Probably.
It seems my light's been swallowed.
Eventually we could have a whole Halloween album from Muse.
I've used up every ounce of luck.
Let's try boosting the highs right now with just the organ in his voice.
Into the fire, find a higher power, and reach for
Cut it off.
something new. I need somewhere that's safe.
Dude, is this just gonna be
to run.
organ in his voice the whole time? That would be epic.
It can't just be with anyone.
I think Dan Lancaster is the 4th guy in the band.
Oh, interesting.
His wiki page, the picture is him performing with them 3 years ago.
Well, there you go then. He understands how the band works.
Got to
Yep.
be with you.
Oh yeah. That's very Absolution.
Yes.
The night, I'll rage against the dying light. I won't bow to the universe. to fall into.
I was gonna say we need to have more vocal harmonies coming in. I can just feel this Muse song as it's going.
Yeah.
Muse is doing Muse things.
It's got to be with you.
Yep, I was gonna say the kick drum's gonna drop out, and then it'll come back in, but it'll be kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare.
It's got to be with you.
Oh. Whoa. Oh my god. Dude, this is awesome.
This is AWOL Nation.
Oh yeah, I can see that. But this sounds way better. Well,
Yes.
I don't know if this low frequency thing, Chris, has ever bothered me as much as this. Because
I could understand completely why.
this could be like all-timer. Everybody in the comments, let us know if we are picking up what other people are picking up. Have you watched other reactions to this album? Have they said the same thing?
Never.
No
way.
I think it's happening more. With the Paul McCartney album, people sent me links to other people reacting to the album and saying that it sounded terrible and mushy. So people are noticing. Yes.
Interesting.
It's not-
right. That's great.
It's not just us. That was awesome. Too short.
Too short.
It should have gotten even one step bigger. Now, I know it sounds impossible because that bass was enormous there. It should have gotten one step bigger, and then everything should have come down, and he should have sung just by himself a little bit again at the end. But that was so cool when everything kicked in and the big drums and everything kicked in there.
Yeah.
That was so cool sounding. Awesome.
Yeah, that was great.
But it felt short. That song felt short.
Historically, that thing I talked about being very absolutionist.
Yep.
I think that's in Butterflies and Hurricanes. And I believe historically they play that on bass. At least I've seen him do it live that way.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if that's still the case. There's every reason for it to not be, but it's interesting.
Well, that's so funny you said that because like the moment that happened, my mind immediately went, oh, that sounds just like The Second Law, which is the album that was so much more electronic. Like that's their most electronic sounding album. And so, because that to me is how you would make that. You would just make a little bloop type of synth thing. Or you could even do it on a keyboard yourself. You just go bloop.
Yeah.
You know, and so very difficult, I would think, to do on a bass. Well, not even, I guess not difficult. You could just see, just that easy. So easy. Anyone could do it.
Might as well do it myself.
Yep, I could join Muse. I'm so talented. It's so easy. so easy. Loved that though. Loved that song. Probably of the last four songs we've heard, it's my least favorite, only because it felt short. But I loved what it was doing. Okay, now let's go into Hexagons in 3, 2, 1. Keyboard, do you think?
Both. Both keyboard and guitar.
Initial impression is that it's a little bit more crispy sounding, but I'm not holding out.
I'd hope so. It's all by itself.
Well, right. Yeah, that is guitar. Gotta love a good old brass patch.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Sounds like the Proto Man.
Oh, remind me to ask you about that too.
Knights of Sidonia 2.
Acoustic guitar.
That's new.
With severed strings. Gorge.
All you've ever wanted is acoustic guitar and electronic music.
I have. And if there was ever a band that could do it the exact way I wanted to, it'd be Muse.
Yep.
What is that? Oh my God, Chris. Every song is pissing me off worse.
This is so good.
This is like #1 territory we're talking.
They did not art too hard. I'll just say it.
No, shut up. Dude, oh my gosh.
What a killer patch.
And that... And the bass is going in the middle with the drums.
Yep. Bum, bum.
It's such a sci-fi feeling thing to do that.
Yeah.
It just, because it's like an unnatural type of thing. Like, you wouldn't do that on a guitar. It'd be too hard. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Although he could do it, and I'm sure he will do it. He started the whole song doing it. But the average human... Some synth vocoder vocals in there too.
This whole album's been a fantastic surprise so far.
It's phenomenal, except for the lack of high. I really hope when I boost it that it fixes it for me. I don't think it's going to, though. But it's just such... Okay, sorry. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. Every song. This is amazing. This is like... If I could make a band in my head to play a specific style of music, like, it would be like this. But the vocalist would also rap and scream vocal. You know, there'd also be metal in it. And rap. Which I don't want to hear Matt Bellamy try to rap.
No.
He'd be like, stop, collaborate, and listen. And it's like, no, dude, you're supposed to sing fast. You go, I can't sing fast. Ooh.
This is gonna rip.
The way they're playing with the timing.
Life.
The way they're playing with the timing.
Yeah.
Human feeling.
I bet they open with this song.
You know what? That's a great thought.
What an opener.
Yes. Like you said, I hope they make a Blu-ray of this tour.
Yes.
I hope they play this album and Will of the People, just songs from those two albums, the whole albums in a row. Forget everything else. Oh. Keep going. Keep going.
All right.
Keep going.
It's gonna.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Well, we'll keep listening. The sickness in you and I.
And
I was covering the and I part. Oh boy.
Oh. Oh. Well, there's your heavy guitars.
Yep. Let's try to boost the highs.
Smell with sharpened teeth, outlaws in our sleep. Trespass, feel the heat. Whispers
Ooh.
Do you think Muse will ever tour with Sleep Token? I could see fans of those two bands. I could see the Venn diagram crossing. Which, for the record, I am not a fan of Sleep Token. I've tried.
Me neither.
This is so catchy. This reminds me of something. I'm trying to put my finger on it.
Ooh.
This... I think we should put in jail the person that took the high frequencies out of this.
Are they doing like in the back?
I didn't notice, I'm sorry. I know they did it once.
Right, they did it once, and I think they were adding it in the back fillers. Song's only half over somehow, so maybe we'll get it again.
Bad Omens? Is that? Am I getting Bad Omens in this?
I could see it.
Someone posted in our Discord today, they were like, hey, have you guys ever heard Bad Omens? And I was like, oh.
Boy, have we ever.
You should watch our top 12 from whatever year that came out. How can they make their guitars sound better than any other heavy band ever? And they're not a freaking heavy band. Let's go. Dude, do a breakdown.
Yeah, I want to hear it.
Dude, now I want to go see him live just to do this part.
Dude, you will not regret it if you do.
I can't. I ain't going to go to Kansas City or wherever they're going to play.
Ooh. They can do whatever they want.
I know. Yes. Cody should have been here with us for this. I think he'd be flipping out over these synth sounds.
I think you're right.
Hey, we can fix the high frequency. Oh wait. Keep going? No, we'll pause. We'll pause. It's too good. I can't listen to 3 songs in a row.
Wow.
I can't do it.
2 completely different songs that had the audacity to go right into each other and both be white hot fire.
This is awesome.
It's so good.
This is an amazing album. So we can react to this again with Cody with fixed EQ.
Yeah, let's do it. Who cares?
From now on, every reaction will just be for this album. So we'll just do it once a week. Here's what I learned this week. But this is kind of how I felt listening to Will of the People. I remember being like, this is so incredible. It's so diverse from song to song to song. But on this album in particular, the synths are like blowing my mind because they're not like featured, but they are just like if you took all the synths out of everything we've heard, you could still have a Muse song, but like they are adding so much aesthetic to the music. I don't know, like that one song had I think it was either, it might have been Be With You, but it had a very Stranger Things feel to it, like very Stranger Things feeling, which I think that they, I mean, there was definitely lots of that on Will of the People for sure, and I think that they started to get into that with Simulation Theory, which is like the cover of that album is literally like the cover of an old VHS tape, like, you know, Star Wars or whatever. So like, I think that they started to lean into the 80s sort of retro synth feel a little bit more with that album, and less of the sci-fi feeling. And this album to me feels like a really cool melding of the like science fiction, which sci-fi like soundtracks and things like, and like the X-Files soundtrack and things like that, or the Twilight Zone soundtrack from back in the day. Those types of things really evoke something like Stranger Things, because it's like just use of synths in particular ways and everything. But like, there's just something about the way that they are doing, like that last thing we heard in that song with like the bouncing synth, the like, like, I don't know how to do that. I'm sure it's just a plugin or something, but like, so cool. And most people wouldn't be able to do something like that in a song because you're changing the tempo of how that's happening, and it's not happening at a rate that is fitting within the tempo of the song.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't think that you could do that in the middle of a song. It would have to be set to the grid. So it'd have to be like, you know, you're playing whole notes, quarter notes, 16th notes, 64th notes. You know what I mean?
I think you'd probably switch the synth to, instead of following tempo, you'd probably change it to follow frequency instead on an LFO. And then you would just dial up the frequency speed.
Sure.
And remove it from timing. Yeah.
But the fact that it was the way that it was there is cool. And you like having it at the end of that song was awesome. And then, because at the beginning too, like I'm like, the songs are so amazing, I can't even remember how they started. But like,
I know it's like it's awesome that we went from Hexagons to number 7, but I don't have any idea what happened to Hexagons now.
I know, right? But it's so awesome. Listening to this in order is going to blow my socks off, like just without pausing. After I boost the high frequencies, because that is really, we'll talk about it at the end, but this is this is maybe the second most egregious time. Well, whatever, not egregious. We'll talk about it at the end. Okay, so now we're to Unraveling. This is the big song. If you heard any of the songs before this, it was probably this one.
Maybe. I can't remember which one I heard. I thought for sure it was Hexagons, and it super wasn't, because Hexagons was fire.
Okay, sweet. Okay. But the song you did hear, you didn't care for as much?
I think that's true, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see. Maybe in context with the album, we'll see. It was probably this one, though. Really, I think is this one. Oh, and we still have the Ellie Goulding song.
I was going to say, think of how excited you are for Hush now.
Oh my gosh. And then Space Debris is going to be fire as hell too. We haven't had any choir or orchestral stuff since the first 2 songs, or first 3 songs, which I'm fine with, but I bet that will come back at the end. The last track will definitely be like big. I'm
huge,
guessing.
yeah.
Okay, Unraveling in 3, 2, 1. Well, you know I love this. God, it just is so enormous.
The ecstasy was false. Our love is an unlit script no one can memorize, redacted and revised. Our love
Yes.
Sweet.
and I will try to play alone.
There is like high fidelity things being added to this. Like there's like it almost sounds like a mouth sound going like, you know what I mean? Like, oh boy.
Huge.
This ain't the song you heard and didn't care for.
Nope.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so happy there's a big soaring chorus after that. dude, there is so much like modern, like Billie Eilish mixed into this. And
the
like,
very beginning of this, I was like, oh, this is Melmar, 100%.
yeah, there's like modern, and yes. But man, are they kicking everybody else's ass. I mean, just blowing them out of the water.
That guitar turn is very Darren Korb.
I think that was bass.
Even better.
Yeah. Off to the left, interestingly enough. I love the synth here, that tinkly synth. Let's try boosting the highs. Are we going to get a breakdown again? Like, they did
Bring it.
Pre-chorus. Oh! Oh my god, this is the heaviest thing I've heard all year. Okay, Solo Me.
Solo Me Amadeus?
Okay,
This is nuts, man.
Yeah. So now I'm really curious. I don't think you've heard the last two songs, so like, what did you hear?
I don't know.
I know, that's weird, isn't
I'll
it?
never know.
That's really strange. What did anybody listen to that wasn't blown away by this? The only thing could be Dark Forest.
Yeah.
And I doubt it was that. When I said that this is the heaviest thing I've heard, that is putting it into context with what this album is. Oh my gosh. Dude, I want Muse to make a metal album now. Like, let's
So bad, dude.
commit to it. Holy. And teach,
And it's-
we're pausing. Teach everybody how to produce music like this. But with freaking ass high end, you know? But like this sounds so much better than like, okay. So I can imagine in my head what this would sound like with high frequency, and that's what I'm doing when I'm listening to this. Because when I say it sounds fantastic, that's what I mean. Like it is, you can tell that it was recorded very well. Like this is as high a fidelity as you get, minus some monster lopping it off, right? And the high frequency off. And so like, even though I've heard metal albums that sounded better, I guess, overall this year because they have high frequency in them, like this is just made better than all of that. Now it's different. I understand it's not metal. I get it. Whatever. Like we said, Bad Omens. Like it's a good comparison to this because Bad Omens is probably like 60% electronic, 40% metal. And it's probably all made by one dude sitting in a room, which is probably how most of this was made too, with Matt. I mean, that's how they've made music in the past. Now we know you have the producer. Do you want to look up which two songs were produced by the other guy?
Yeah, I'd like to find out.
Because I would be shocked if it wasn't Unraveling and Hexagons or whatever, the two metal ones we heard, whichever one, two those were. But I'm guessing that's the case.
Let's see.
If it says on Wiki or whatever you use to look it up. Or actually, I might be able to look on Spotify. They have credits.
Yeah, you look there because where I'm looking isn't getting me there yet.
Engineer Alex Von Korif, an additional producer on the song we were just on, Unraveling.
Okay.
It says Matt Bellamy, producer, Dan Lancaster, producer, masterer, mixer.
Cool. Okay, so it's his fault.
So yeah, that's what it seems like. Okay, so Hexagons was recording engineer, producer, Alex Von Korif. So Hexagons is one of the songs that he did. One of them. The Sickness in You and I could also be the other one. I'm just going by who they have listed first here as producer. Yeah. Okay, so it looks like those are the two. Let me check Hush, because Hush probably has extra production on it because of Ellie Goulding's team.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. It does look like it has a few extra people, but no. I mean, okay. Okay, so the WoW signal has... Okay, track 1 is produced by Muse and Alex Von Korff.
Oh.
And then track 6, Hexagons, is Muse and Von Korff.
Okay.
Every other song has Lancaster listed first. So it looks like track 1 and track 6. So Dark Forest and Hexagons are the two that were... Whoops. Uh-oh. Thank goodness I didn't accidentally do that. Okay. So, yeah.
Here's something from this article that I think you'll find interesting.
Okay.
Blah, blah, blah. With this being your most personal record in so long, how do you feel about putting up so much of yourself out there, or at least putting the side of yourself out there? Blah, 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 blah. Next question. And now you have to play these songs live. When I started rehearsing these songs and thinking about the live show, I'm so caught up in what it makes me feel that I'm so in it and not really able to worry or think about what anyone else thinks. That's a very interesting feeling. That might be a new thing. In the early years, it was a combination of both. I had to express myself, but I did have the fear of what people thought because my ability to make a living depended on it. So now, because of the position that they're in, he doesn't even think about what anybody else thinks about what he's doing, which is interesting because that's, answers questions we had earlier.
Right. Or at least he's talking, from what you just read there, I got the impression that was more of like a performing live type of thing.
It was specifically about performing such personal songs live.
Okay, so that probably does bleed into what we were asking earlier for sure.
Yeah.
I want to just expand a little bit on what I was saying there before. The reason I feel like the two heavy songs we've heard have felt so crushingly heavy, and we've said this before, is because it's happening on an album that is not a heavy made album.
Totally.
Like when you have one ballad in the middle of a metal album, that ballad means so much because it's so starkly contrasting 80% of what's around it, right? And the same can be true the other way. This album is full of synths and drum beats and bass, and it sounds phenomenal, minus the high frequency stuff. And so when you have two songs that have just crushingly heavy moments, the crushingly heavy parts feel to me like they have more weight to them than on a fully heavy metal, heavy, constantly sounding album.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Perfect sense. That's a principle behind so many different things in audio, like how any, big impact or explosion or huge thing is so much more impactful if you put a little bit of dead space right before it happens.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Pull everything out and then blow it all up instead of just going in from loud to a little bit louder. Like that little gap is huge.
Yep, exactly. And so that we're expanding that thought out into a full album of the two moments that were heavy on this, which I doubt we'll get to anymore, but they were so heavy. And I just adored the way that they were being done, even though if you were a metal fan and you're listening to this, you're like, that ain't a breakdown. That's just someone playing a riff with slow drums. It is, in the context of this album, it meant so much, and it has so much more impact to it, in my opinion, than a heavy album that's consistently heavy.
If somebody came to me and said that wasn't heavy, I would slap their face. I would slap them in the teeth, because that is the most, there's no denying how heavy that was, no matter what.
I know. I'm just saying, to me, right? I'm just saying, to me, that has more meaning to it and is heavier than a lot of heavier albums I've heard this year, because of what's surrounding it and what kind of an album it is.
There's also the element of obviously how it's produced, and there's something that happens with really heavy stuff like that. It almost sounds like it peaks, it gets kind of distorted a little bit when it comes in you just get a lot of sort of to it, and it's obviously intentional. And I think that just does so much more to give it this extra perceived amount of enormity.
I agree 1,000%. And this whole, again, other than the high frequency, this album has been produced to its limit. This is, again, because I can imagine in my head what it would sound like with high frequency, I can say that this is a super phenomenal sounding album.
Yeah.
Just the lacking high frequency. So but again, we'll talk about that in a second. So, okay.
I will say also, I was going to say, I think that this album is better than the previous one because where all of those songs were very snacky. Like they were good, but they were Taco Bell. There's just these songs, every one of these is like a well thought out full course meal with things paired with other things that are going together because of like tannins and whatever else happens in food that really couples stuff up in a perfect way.
Sure.
Like, it's just so contemplative in the songwriting and the way that it sounds. Like you're not having as much fun necessarily, but yeah, it's so meaty. There's just so much going on.
I agree. We still have 2 songs to go, and I already think that this album is better songwriting-wise than Will of the People. However, again, that's with the caveat on top of it. So, okay, now we're to Hush. If we can believe it or not, I'm even more hyped for this. This is Muse featuring a pop star that I adore, which, if anybody wants to get a good idea of what Ellie Goulding is like, if you want to listen to her more experimental stuff that I think Muse fans would like more, listen to her album Halcyon. And if you want to listen to like the highest fidelity pop music you can possibly listen to her last album called Higher Than Heaven. On that album, I don't know if you remember, Chris, but I talked about it on our top 12 that year. She has 3 different types of songs, and they go in order: 1, 2, 3. The next 3 songs, the next 3 songs, next 3 songs. So it's like cycling through the whole album. And those types of songs are like 80s throwback synth pop song, modern electronic song, and then sort of modern mid-tempo ballad type of thing with heavy drums. So all the songs have a beat and everything, but my favorite songs are the 80s throwback stuff. So listen to her album Higher Than Heaven if anyone wants to hear that kind of stuff. But if you want the more slower down tempo, more thought out, longer songs, listen to her album Halcyon. I think that's what it's called, if anyone's curious. But let's listen to what she's doing here on Hush in 3, 2, 1. Okay. White Stripes.
Derek Corbett.
I mean, that was basically Seven Nation Army. I've never heard Ellie Goulding sing on a song with distorted guitar.
Here we go.
Yeah, let's do it.
I was gonna say, let's see how good she can get.
Hopefully she doesn't just... I feel like he has more highs in his voice for this song.
Silence the giant, just let
The piano doesn't.
He's so close and clean.
Yeah.
I want to feel it, forget the world together, choke out the noise forever.
Or Billie Eilish.
Get the world together, just
Big
for
time.
a moment. It's getting too loud, don't let it drown inside. It's hitting me now, there's chaos all around.
I love how she's like this ghost back vocal for him.
For now, I think he did mention in that wiki that it became a duet.
Yeah.
So hopefully she does have a lead vocal part. Second verse, maybe. Interesting, weird progression. Feels like it goes on twice as long as it should.
It's coming closer, be still, be slower, show some composure. I want to feel the silence is everything, to focus adrenaline. The silence is everything. I know you need it. Forget the world together.
Especially Billie Eilish now.
Yes, yeah.
Just for a moment, it's getting too loud.
Yeah, this is straight up Ellie Goulding type of song.
Good.
Like,
It's you and me now, there's chaos all around. So lose yourself, free yourself.
dude, maybe this would inspire Matt to like produce an album for her or something.
Take a breath and
He'd never be able to lose that much control over something.
Probably. How
Not that he's
old
a
is
freak.
Ellie Goulding? Ellie is 39 as of right now. She's,
So am I.
hey, we could get married. We're the same age.
That's all it takes.
Come on over anytime you want, Ellie.
a lot more time than I thought.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if Matt would make a guest appearance on her album.
That'd be cool.
I was curious if they were going to be able to sing together.
It's working.
I don't know. One of them should be doing a harmony vocal. They're singing unison.
I agree.
Take a breath and
At least
that was so. I loved that. That was okay. We're
that
gonna
was
pause.
that was something that you wanted to have happen earlier and be with you, where it's like drop everything out and just do the thing.
Yes.
With just the solo vocal.
But just
So
the way
you
he
what
got,
you wanted.
the way he got so close to the mic, and then he like dropped to the like. I bet he had to do a million takes of that. Just hi.
Matt Bellamy does one take of everything.
But like that was awesome. The way that he performed that final vocal part there was so good. I don't know how I feel about that song. I don't really feel like that fit on the album very well, and I think
I agree.
that it was more kind of just a like. I don't know. I mean, Muse is British, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Ellie Goulding's like probably the most famous British pop star right now, so like it makes sense.
I didn't know she was British.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, she's very British. But like yeah, so I mean, yeah, I don't know. I would have more liked it if it just felt like Ellie Goulding was singing on a Muse song, and instead that felt like Muse wrote an Ellie Goulding song and then happened to have it on their album.
You know, that's
what it
interesting
felt
because
to me.
one thing I was thinking of is like, I don't remember who's complained about this in the past. It might have been my sister actually, but the idea that like a song featuring someone else and then that person who it's featuring just like barely shows up. Like they show up and they're like, and that's it. And you get now they get the credit, and that really sucks when that happens. So I was gonna say, finally, a song featuring an artist where I was surprised at how much real estate of this song that she got. Like she got the whole second half.
Yes. See, now I agree with that, but however, in today's day and age, it's so common for people to do collaborations and stuff that, and also it's so easy to just like look at Spotify and see song featuring. Whereas and I don't know if on the track listing for the album it says Hush featuring Ellie Goulding. Like I would assume it would have to.
I imagine so.
And she's like a big enough artist that it would need to be. But honestly, like for most of the stuff we listen to, it doesn't say that. Like if it's just like a band performing and there's like a female vocalist in there, most of the time it doesn't say who it is. Like you have to like dig into the credits of the album to find it. But like in this case, it makes sense featuring Ellie Goulding because like it's clearly, like you said, she got a huge part in the song. And also I would say arguably she's like a bigger music act than Muse. I would it's probably pretty close. Oh, well,
man,
let's see who has more followers, just out of curiosity.
That's fair.
I'm not saying that's definitive. So Muse has...
It's a good metric. It's all we have.
Okay, we'll see. Muse has 21 million... Well, I'll round up. 21,500,000, okay?
Nice.
I'm so curious.
200 million.
Ellie Goulding has 51,980,000.
I'm surprised.
So about twice as much.
In my mind, Muse is the final boss god fight of music. Like they're in a world where superstars of music like Michael Jackson don't really exist the way they used to. Muse is one of this like untouchably enormous bands.
Right.
And so the fact that he's like, you know, we'll get to the really big shows when we can fill stadiums in the UK and Europe, but we can't fill stadiums in the US. To me, it's like phooey and push on. That is complete nonsense.
Right.
I cannot believe you would say such ridiculous things. I've seen you play arenas without issue. And I don't know, maybe he meant something different, but they just seem like one of the most incredibly gigantic bands that has ever existed. So I'm surprised just that she's got an extra, basically double and then some of their followers.
Okay, track 10. This is final track. Are we going to get final song vibes from this? It's quite a long one, 5.5. We'll see. This is Space Debris. Again, I said earlier, my prediction is that the orchestral stuff will come back from the beginning of the album.
Yeah, I bet it's going to be very sparse, very empty, a lot of plinky, and very spacey, some sort of ballad-esque.
I hope so.
I'm thinking Exogenesis, but we'll see.
Well, do you think it's going to get big at the end, or do you think it'll just kind of meander the whole time?
I'm going to go with meander.
I think so, too, because we've had several songs on this album that started small and got big, and so we kind of need a song that just is small the whole time. We'll see. Maybe it's... Now, their last album, they ended with the most rockin' thing, with the We Are Effing Effed.
Yeah.
Being, like, so different. The most different thing on the whole album, so... All right, this is Space Debris in 3, 2, 1. I do not want this to be sound effects for 5.5 minutes with no singing or anything. I want this to be a song.
They wouldn't do it. They'd never do it.
I hope not.
It sounds weirdly artifacty.
I can't fill the void when her heart ice is over.
Oh, this one does have lyrics.
Yeah, it sure does.
But I'm not going to look at them. It distracts me.
It already sounds like it's another one of the divorce songs.
Yeah.
Back when I forget what I
He's so close to the mic. You're hearing every glottal stroke.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, breathe slow as our bond decays like space debris.
Strings coming in.
Love can drift away. Love like this can't age with grace. It burns
Some slapback echo on the bass.
in a cold
Yeah. That drum, whatever that is weird.
I love the, like, trippy acoustic guitar in the middle.
The
Off to the
tambourine.
left a little.
Oh, beat slow as our bond decays like space.
That kick drum is coming after me.
It's very meaty.
Love can drift.
It's a combination of that and the bass guitar, though.
Yeah, they're together.
Oh, beat slow.
This is more Absolution-y to me, kind of.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily the mix, but Matt's part.
Yeah. It's very live sounding.
Like space, dear.
Yeah.
Love can drift away.
Sad song.
Yeah.
That's a sonar. That's the sound of a sonar.
Very cool.
Yeah.
It's a good fill-in for the vacuum of space.
It is.
Silent drift, she can't descend.
The sea of tranquility.
Tells me like our world would never end.
There's so much room in the drums. Like, he's there. In that space. That shed.
Definitely final song vibes.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, it's going to be July. We need to do our catching up on our lists video.
Yeah.
Our checkup or check-in. Because there's some stuff we can talk later about how we want to actually do that, because I'm excited for that. Interesting. Okay.
Fitting for,
I think
like,
so.
the message of the song and the structure and the way that it was written fit each other really well thematically. And then it also fits being at the end of the album. Like, everything just starts to break apart and just kind of drift away.
Yeah. And it didn't fade out, which it totally could have, which is nice.
It could
now that I
have,
think
yeah.
about that. Yeah, I agree. I'm happy you said that, because I was kind of a little lower on it thinking, but then when you said that, yes, it does. Because there were really not very many synths in there at all. And I was kind of like, we've kind of had synths be an underlying theme of this whole album. And the way that that he was using them to be like almost like percussive things off to the sides. And I could have had some of that in there. But the strings came back, but they were definitely not a focal point. They were more just like doing synth pad stuff the second half of the song, but the first half, when they came in and I mentioned them, they were really stringing it up at that point. So yeah, I don't know. As far as final tracks go, that had a final song vibe for sure, but that's not my favorite. But then again, Muse doesn't really usually do they do final song vibes, but they don't usually do like... they did They did the Exogenesis song. They did the Second Law, Part 1 and Part 2. What's the last track on Absolution? Ruled by Secrecy.
Yeah, that's a slower song.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like I don't know. So I do, in looking at it and thinking about it and listening to what you said, I think I feel a little bit better about it, because I wasn't really like, I don't know.
I need to figure out the lyrics for Hush, because I feel like thematically, based on this album being, centered around his divorce and everything else, Ellie Goulding could play a really strong part in like a back and forth, he's him, she's her argument, whatever, both filling a role there. But I don't know what the lyrics are, so I can't say for sure that that's true.
The lyrics are on Spotify, if you want to look real quick.
Yeah, and I've got them too. I just haven't looked at them.
Oh, sure.
But otherwise, I feel like Hush doesn't fit the rest of this album, which is really weird, because this album is so all over the place, you wouldn't think anything fits anything, but it just feels a little out of place. And I feel, and I didn't really feel that way until this song kind of glued it all together.
Wrapped it up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, which that's kind of what I was saying, and I think I agree with what I said even more now. I was validated by the last track there. I agree. I don't think that it fits on there as well. I don't. It almost feels like that song could have been on Will of the People more as just a let's make a single sounding song. Yeah. And it did feel like it didn't have any of the hallmarks that the song... We were freaking out on almost every other track on this album. Now, the problem is when I look at this as a whole... Okay, so let's move to our thoughts as a whole, which we've been in... I guess we've been in there for a while. So track 1, we were kind of like, I don't know. But then track 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we were like, holy crap. And then track 10, we were like, okay, I see it's all being put together. Are 8 enjoyable songs enough to, you know what I mean? Like this album is 45 minutes long. we have 2 5-minute tracks that I probably won't listen to very much again. Well, the first song, I'll throw this on and listen to it. The first track.
There's 4 5-minute tracks.
We're right, but 2 of them are the ones that kind of disappointed us more.
Oh, yeah.
Track 1 and I don't want to say track 10 was disappointing, but I don't think so.
It doesn't have the listenability of Hexagons.
No, for sure not. But I do think. I don't know. I'm trying to mathematically like weigh out the album, but I don't think that's what to do with this because it was so phenomenal. Like, it was so good. So, okay, so let me just get it out of the way, right? I don't think I've ever felt as disappointed. I don't think we've come across an album that had the high frequency problem that bothered me as much as this one because of how good this album could be. Mm-hmm. Like, the only thing I can compare this to is one of the best reactions we've done on the channel here, and that was to the album, or actually I think I did it myself, and then I maybe had you pop in at the end. I don't think you were there for me when I did it. No. The Diablo Swing Orchestra album, which infamously on the channel was like one of the first reviews. It was one of the first times I included the music in the video itself because I had to.
Oh,
because
yes.
It was
Diablo
so
Swing
bad.
Orchestra, yeah.
It was so bad. And that was a mix problem. That wasn't a high frequency problem. That was a mix problem. That was so frustrating because, okay, well, we're not going to even talk about that specifically, but sometimes we come across albums that have something wrong with them. And it hurts worse because if that thing was fixed, you know it would be like masterpiece level album. Yeah. And that's what we're talking about in this case. Like, if this album sounded as good as Will of the People, I would definitely love it more, and I would be talking about fighting for number 1 position right now, because I think it's honestly, like, I would say probably, let's just pretend for a second this album sounds as good as Will of the People. We're talking about possibly like maybe 6 of my favorite Muse songs of all time being right here on this.
Crazy.
Like, it was so good. Like, yes. And like, when I listen to Muse's albums, I don't listen to, with the exception of Will of the People, I do not listen to it going, man, banger after banger after banger after banger. To me, there are like highlights on their albums that are like reach the peak. But this, Will of the People and this album are like banger after banger after banger after banger. And I do think that this album is better. I think it's more interesting. I think in a weird way, it's more consistent. It's like consistently surprising in a uniform way, whereas Will of the People just felt like, this song feels like this, and this song feels like this, and they're all so amazing individually, and they just happen to exist on the same album. Whereas this album felt more consistent in that all the songs felt like they belonged together in this extremely large bubble that fits so many different things inside of it, but they still fit inside the bubble, you know?
Yeah, it's like a group of... It's like a group of like a field trip, like a bus full of kids as a group in a field trip going to a place, versus Will of the People is just
all the
a
kids
crowd at a concert.
Oh, sure. Okay. That's a weird analogy, but okay.
If you see where I'm going, it's like you've got a huge group of people either way, but one of them is individual, no matter regardless of the size of the group.
Yeah.
And the other one is cohesive, where they all know each other.
Right.
And they're all different, but they're all there for the same reason.
Yes. Yeah. And I definitely, so I think that this album is better than Will of the People, but I don't think that it sounds as good as Will of the People. And to me and my personal taste in music, the way it sounds kind of in this case trumps the reason I like these songs.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately for me is a thing that happens to me a lot, and that's a huge bummer.
And more often lately, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot more often.
I wonder if there's going to be a point where you're going to have to like readjust yourself and like, because otherwise nothing's ever going to be good again. It seems like this just keeps getting worse.
I know, it's so strange, but again, it's not everything. Like,
right.
I've heard so many great sounding albums this year, and
man, that's such a good point. As soon as something that isn't like that comes across, it's like if you adjust your standards, then that's going to end up blowing everything else away in a way that can't be touched by anybody else.
Right, and so that's why it's like. You know, because I want to reward, again, no one gives a crap what I think, but like to me, I want to reward people with my positivity over their album that have done it right. You know, I want the people who did it right to feel justified and validated that they did it right. You know,
When you had cancer, you should have used some sort of Make-A-Wish situation to ask a bunch of producers what is happening.
I know. Yeah. There
Opportunity missed.
Yes, I know. I should have done, but they don't give a lot of Make-A-Wishes to people who are 38.
Yeah.
So
I don't know what the cutoff for the age is on that, but I'm pretty sure it's not 38.
Yeah, and you kind of have to like just look sickly and stuff, and I kind of didn't look that bad the whole time, but I mean, I don't know.
That's true.
But okay, guys, so I mentioned at the beginning, but if you skip to the end here, I just have to say that we had a bit of a technical problem during this section. So what's about to happen in this video is we start A-Bing songs from Muse's other albums with this album, with the wow signal, and we also at a certain point started A-Bing the wow signal to other albums that we know have high frequencies in them and are very high fidelity to us. And so the problem was when I was recording in OBS, I accidentally had it set so that Chris's audio was in the same track as the music. So that created a whole problem, but I managed to fix it and get around it and everything for the song. So while we were doing the whole reaction, everything is exactly the way I had wanted it to be, planned it out, everything is fine, and it's accurate to what we're saying. But now for this next section, in order for me to do it, I'm going to have to mute the track you've been listening to of Chris's this entire video and play the track with the music in it and Chris's audio. So I am sacrificing a little bit of Chris's audio quality so that you watching the video can hear the music at the volume that we've been listening to music this entire video. Everything we're going to play now in this next section of the video is I've tried to make it so the volume is correct. It's the same volume it's been, and Chris might be a little bit lower, but that's because I can no longer have him on an isolated track, if you understand what I'm saying. His voice from now, for a little while at least, it goes back to the other way it was. But while we're listening to samples of music in this particular section, you're going to be hearing Chris talking over the music on a track where I couldn't separate them. Hopefully that makes sense. So just know I've kept it with music first. So I did no EQing, no compression to the music track or anything like that. You are hearing the music exactly the way that we were listening to it, the way that I recorded it. It is lossless from Spotify. So it should be high quality, and I feel a pretty good, accurate representation of what all of this music sounds at its highest quality, at least digitally. So just bear in mind that Chris's track is sitting on top of it, so volumes of him might be a little wonky here and there, but I focused on the music first and put no effects on the music at all during this section at all. So, okay, let's get into it. Okay, so let's do this thing. Let's listen to a sample of a song. Let's pick a song from this album that we feel is a good representation.
I think
let's see.
Hexagons.
I was thinking that one too, but it's got lots of like. I want to find.
That's fine.
Like
I don't remember what it sounds like.
That's all right. Okay, so go to Be With You and go to like 2 minutes and 30 seconds or so.
Okay.
Okay? It's a big part, everything's going.
Yeah.
Okay, now let that play. I'm letting it play so everyone can hear. Now I'm going to go to Will of the People. There's a guitar solo happening. And I'm going to click on... I don't know. What? Should we just do the best sounding one? You make it feel like Halloween?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to click in the middle of the song. And we'll see if we notice more high frequencies.
I won't let me click on the middle of the song.
My initial impression is no.
Oh, listen to this album, this song.
You make me feel like Halloween?
Yeah, you can feel the difference, man. It's just got so much space. The headroom's there.
But the thing is, I don't know if it's a... Hold on, I gotta go back to the other one. I'm gonna click on Shimmering Scars. That was the wrong one to click on.
Yeah. Do Nightshift.
I'm on Cryogen. Oh yeah, Nightshift. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Nightshift.
I don't know, man. It sounds pretty good.
You are a Nightshift superstar. Complete your complaint anymore. As you told your tracks.
I don't know, man. I just went back and jumped over to Won't Stand Down, and I think that they're closer than we thought.
It does sound pretty similar. I'm very surprised. I thought it was going to be very obvious, and it's not. But now I'm thinking that this doesn't sound as good as I remember it. I'm not thinking the other way where like, oh, maybe Hope what was Wow Signal sounds better. And now I'm thinking, well, this album sounds like crap too. Let's go to the heavy one, which is Kill or Be Killed. The cymbals are way more present on Will of the People.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know. Honestly, I'm not hearing much of a difference.
You're what?
I'm not hearing much of a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
What
I
an
don't.
incredible thing to complain about for an entire album.
No, I still
illusory.
I still think it's valid, but like, I'm gonna go to Resistance. See how
Listen
that
to Compliance.
sounds. Yeah, I was. Well, Resistance is like 5 dB lower, so I think
Crazy.
that has just more
Crazy.
headroom. Let's go to Absolution, the 2003 version.
Oh man, that's going to be quite the change. Quite the change.
Man. Man, that's I just do not hear much of a difference.
Even from Absolution?
No, no. Frequency wise,
Wow.
the mix is quite different.
Yeah.
The mix is quite different. But like, no, I don't hear much difference, which is just. Let me click on something else. Someone sent me a recommendation today on Discord of something that they thought we should listen to, because it was like top 12 albums of the year worthy, and he said it was like one of the best sounding quality things he's ever heard. And I listened to like 10 seconds, and I was like, I don't know if I've ever heard anything this good before. So let me see if. Oh wow! I wish I wouldn't have heard that. Because I thought this, wow, it's metal. I didn't know that. The 10 seconds I listened to before was just like piano, and I was like, that sounds phenomenal. But now I just heard like a breakdown. I'm like, oh my God. I cannot wait to listen to this. So for anybody that wonders what I'm talking about, it's a band called Exploring Birdsong, and one of our guys named Tor. He's from Norway, and he recommends music to me all the time. We go back and forth with stuff, and he recommended this band to me a while ago. So their new album is called Every House We Built. Chris, if you want to go just like listen to a couple samples of it.
Yeah, I'm listening to the song track 3 right now.
That's the one I clicked on. It's got a metal breakdown.
Oh wow, because it doesn't start that way.
But I was listening to track 4, Footprints, earlier. It's got these incredible synths. Son of a gun. Now all of it feels washed out to me, Chris. Maybe I have a cold.
Erase the reaction.
No, I think it's valid because what's going to happen is I'm going to put the high EQ boost on it, and it's going to be like, wow, that sounds way better. I really, but we are so foolish because I really do.
But the fact that it doesn't sound any different than Will of the People is like a whole ruined. It's ruined.
That is so crazy to me because I really do think that Will of the People sounds phenomenal. Maybe it's because I've been listening to the CD of Will of the People and it sounds different than I can't imagine that's the case. But
I know, same. But
I was just listening to this too the other day and I did not get that feeling from it.
So I just went from Exploring Birdsong track 2. Mm-hmm. And I dropped straight into Nightshift Superstar 40 seconds in and
similar frequencies.
Really close, yeah.
Okay, right. Now, what's an album that we do think is phenomenal sounding? Let's try an electronic. Let's try that Opio one.
Opio?
Yeah, OPUO. OPIUO. And I just clicked on track 5 and clicked in the middle. And it's like...
Is it fair to compare purely electronic music, though? Yeah, for this
I think what we're listening to is mostly electronic with Muse, but
that's fair.
So that's
plus if it's just a frequency thing, like they can record all of the frequencies of something, so there's no reason to think that would be
certainly. But like I'm honestly shocked at how similar that sounds to. Okay. Something was different about this album, though. It was. It didn't feel to me as high. Okay, so this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, about it not necessarily being a high-frequency thing and being more of a compression thing. Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Nightshift Superstar does sound softer than the Opio thing you just listened to. Like, it's got a rounder edge to it.
For sure. That, like, it's missing those, like, crispy, breathy frequencies. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, I thought that Will of the People had those frequencies in it, and I wasn't hearing them now when we were listening to it. And so, man, I don't know. Everybody watching the video, tell us what you think. Because this is... Yeah. I don't know how to feel about that. Because
shooketh. You are shooketh.
I am, because... when I listened to Will of the People, we were already aware of this problem. Like, this has been happening for years. And when I listened to Will of the People, I never had that issue. I don't think I said once during the reaction, this is lacking high frequency. I just kept saying, this sounds so fantastic. However, when we were listening to this, I did have that feeling right away from track 1. And I don't think anything has changed with me.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, you've already gone back and compared it just now, and you're like, these are suddenly the same. And that's just...
Well, but that's just with listening, like, just going back and forth.
Yeah, like, but I mean, like we said before, an A-B should be the cleanest way to find the difference.
It should be, but what I've noticed is that in this case... I've had this happen before in videos where I go back and compare it to something. Like I did it with Modest Mouse in the Modest Mouse video. I really think that the newest Modest Mouse album is very egregiously lacking high frequency. And I thought that their previous album had the high frequency, but when I compared them, it didn't. It didn't have it as... It wasn't as different as I thought. I do still think that the newest album is way worse, and I think it's a compression issue there. Like, it's like a mixing compression thing, not just a high frequency.
I went and I listened to a couple of songs from that album, and the very first song has all of this wonderful, like, sparse production trinkets, and I felt it then.
Right,
like,
because you
would be so much better.
You weren't hearing the tinkliness of it. You were just hearing, but you could tell that it was recorded phenomenally and really close and everything.
It
but
just felt like the ceiling was low, which I mean more metaphorically. Like, it just there's a breathiness, there's a space, a room in those high frequencies, when they're there, they just add so much extra freedom for every little thing to be where it is, where it belongs, and not interfere with anything else.
Right.
And it's so perceptive.
Yeah.
Or or something that is like purely perceptive, or it's like, I can't put my finger on this and I can't exactly explain it to someone who doesn't know what to listen for, but I feel it. You can feel the difference.
Yeah. Yep. And Cody's been having, when it happens when Cody and I do a reaction, I always ask him every time, like, do you get what we're saying? Like, you feel it? And he's always like, I can't articulate it, but I can tell that there's something happening here or not happening, that if I feel something missing is kind of the way he says it. But he listens to music way differently than we do, and certainly way different than I do. And so that's why I feel like his opinion is super valid when we're doing stuff like this. And it's not valid, but like, it's important. But like, I don't know. And again, it comes back to the having your hand in front of your face thing, right? Like when I move my hand away, you can just hear so much more. And when I edit our videos,
that really is such a great example.
Yeah. And when I edit our videos, I don't think we'll have any problem talking over this album. Like sometimes when we listen to stuff that I perceive to be super high frequency and high fidelity, it is hard for me to mix our voices into the music talking over it. But anytime we listen to anything that has that we say is lacking in high end, our voices just sit on top of it so easily. Like I don't have to worry about compressing our voices too much or anything. They just sit on top of it so well, because I put the crispy frequencies in our voices. I want them to be there, and I think it makes it sound better. And so you can hear in our reactions for albums that have this problem, you can hear us using our breathiness and the high frequencies talking over the top of it, and our voices just sit so much better on top of it, and it's way easier than when we have an album that I think sounds really great with those high frequencies. It's harder to get our voices to sit on top of it because they mesh in with those high frequencies, And so that's another way that I look at it, that I do feel is like a sort of a more tangible way to feel it. And I don't generally point it out ever when we're recording. I don't think I've ever pointed it out when we're recording. So this will be the first time I've done that. But like everybody watching this video, go back and click when we were listening to any song on this album and see if you can hear us talking over the top of the music, which I always have to edit it so that you can hear us talking over the top of the music.
Yeah,
but
I feel like it's a tough metric.
Some albums are just so much easier for me to insert us into the music, if that makes sense. Because people,
it does. I'm not really sure why, but it does make sense.
Well, because our voices can sit on top of it because it has the high frequency and the definition which we've been talking about this whole time. So I don't know. I do want us to talk about the album a bit, because boy, was it phenomenal. Like,
it was so good.
Bass, fantastic. Synths, fantastic. Matt's voice never distracted me until the last song. I never felt, okay, come on. Until the last track, I felt that he was kind of dragging stuff out a little bit. And in that track, even contextually, it makes sense that you would want to be dragging it out because he doesn't want it to end. He doesn't want it to all fall apart contextually. And so I think that you could even make the point that he's doing it on purpose there, and it's actually working if you feel that way, because he wants the song to feel like it's being, like he's holding on to the song and doesn't want to let go, like the relationship, So that makes total sense. So I literally can't complain about any of this other than, in my opinion, the lack of the high frequencies, and which now I'm second guessing. And and then the fact that Hush felt like it didn't necessarily belong on the album as much.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But like you said, if we went back and analyzed it more, and it was standing in as an analog for him and his ex-wife, and their relationship, or just it doesn't even have to be specifically about them, but like a relationship between two people and the conflicting sides of whatever was happening. Mm-hmm. Then that would make it fit really nicely on the album. So, hopefully I can get the CD of this eventually. I do believe I had to order this one off of Amazon and wasn't able to find it in a store, but Walmart's doing really good now with having new albums that are being released, actually having them available on CD. The CDs are coming back. They really are.
Good.
And praise our Lord and Savior CD man, or whatever. I don't know. That's stupid. But anyway, I'm happy CDs are coming back. So, yeah. I don't know.
What's the name of that guy? Max Headroom. He's the responsible for CDs.
Max Headroom. Yeah. So So, okay, I don't know. What are your final thoughts on this? Do you like it better than Will of the People?
I think I might.
Okay.
I don't really listen to Will of the People very often.
Okay, you should go listen to it again. It's phenomenal.
I should. I agree. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. Even though I said earlier it's not fun, it is. In a way that's different from Will of the People.
Well, and it is, and it is also different from like Absolution, which is my other favorite Muse album. Like,
yes.
Absolution to me feels like you're like the Lord of the Rings. Like, it's like, oh my God, where are we going on this journey? Like, it's taking forever.
Absolution's very epic. It's very epic. It's very apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And it feels that way. And this
it's
doesn't.
Weighty.
This has a totally different vibe.
Yeah. This feels fun while at the same time having a bit more weight to it than Will of the People, which felt just very like pop songy. So I loved that aspect of this album.
Yes, and I think we'll see how things pan out for the rest of the year. But I mean, it's definitely going to be in the 12. It might be in the top 5. I haven't looked at my list lately to see what might be above it, but. It's really, I'm going to listen to this more. I've been listening to, I don't even know.
That's all right. We can talk about it in our catch up video or whatever we're going to call that. Because we are planning.
I do want to get, especially like a run through this without big pauses in it.
Yeah.
I really want to knock out a couple of those to see how I feel about it ultimately. But
yeah,
honestly, this is a big surprise. I don't know what it was I listened to that I didn't like the sound of before this came out. I don't remember what song it was. None of these sounded like that because these are all fire. Sure. And so I had this like, oh no, it might not be very good kind of idea coming into this, and they just knocked it out.
Well, it's funny because that's kind of the vibe I got from people too. Because even I posted on Discord, I was like, oh, I haven't heard any of the singles yet. And a couple people were like, oh, you haven't listened to the singles? Oh, just wait. And maybe they were saying it, oh, he hasn't listened to any of the singles yet. Yes, I can't wait. Yeah. But the impression I got from them was like, oh, he hasn't heard the singles yet. But like, and again, that quote that we said that they arted too hard or whatever it was, they did. They, ridiculous.
They did not. They arted the most exactly correct amount.
Because this still is very accessible. All these songs.
Yes, it really does. Like if you're a Muse fan, you're not going to be like, "What is this?"
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
You're right where you want to be.
Yeah, and Unraveling was like a fantastic single. Like,
oh yeah,
that could be on the radio next to anything, and it was one of the heavy ones with the breakdown at the end. But it still felt like it worked with modern music. So yeah,
and it does seem like they've adopted some of this heavier stuff that they added to the Will of the People, like that. That was the big deal, was that they had heavy music for the first time ever, heavy songs on that album. And there's like 3 or 4 songs on here that have rockin' breakdowns.
Yes,
They're finally the seeds that they planted with the second half of Knights of Sidonia and Stockholm Syndrome are really becoming like trees, and they're just getting so much. They're adding so many heavy things to the songs overall, and more of them over and over again. So it's like, bring on the metal Muse, man. I'm here for it, big time.
Yep, 1,000%. I agree. Okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching the video. Check out all our stuff in the Discord. I will post in the description of this video. Check out everything in the description. Sorry, it's hard for me to get Discord and description are too close together. They need to change the name of one of those. But anyway, I will post in the description of the video. I will post a link to my Will of the People reaction, and people can go check that out if you haven't seen it. And I'm really hoping we get some good views on this video. If we we will do more Muse. We can react to the first 2 albums, which I've never heard, and we can react to Black Holes and Revelations, and I would love us to do Absolution with Cody. I think that would be fun.
That'd be fun.
I just, in looking at their discography, I had never listened to the 20th anniversary of Absolution, which came out 2 years ago.
I did not either.
Yeah, it says Absolution XX Anniversary, and it's got like a ton of bonus songs. Vocal and keyboard only. The whole album, like there's demos and live stuff.
So don't care about that.
Well, I know, but a whole bunch of stuff. So, okay, everybody, thank you so much for watching. We will see you all next time. So in that regard, we are kind of in the middle of like a ticket price crisis at the moment.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've been following...
Ticket prices.
Oh, the ticket prices. Yes, the ticket prices. Yes. Oh, we're sometimes smart.
We?
Yeah, you. Okay, you.